My name is Aidan Kearney, also known as Turtleboy.
He is a senior editor for Turtleboy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtleboy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You need to not say that you were going to take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I know.
People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never going to stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
It's go time. Tick, tick, boom. Bring the noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separated from the boys. Chop up the singers, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go hit, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Tick, tick, boom. Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this. So it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's good quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go hit, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go time. Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go hit, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go time.
Hey, what's up, turtle people? What's going on out there, folks? Welcome to the Turtleboy Live Show. I am your host. They call me Dr. Turtleboy around these parts. If you're old school, I guess you can call me Uncle Turtleboy. Some people call me, or you can call me Clarence, or you can call me Aidan, or I know there's a sensitive issue for some. You can call me Daddy. That's a thing now. If you want to, I'm Michael Proctor's daddy, so it might as well be yours too. So whatever. I'm also, if Joe Biden's a doctor, then so am I. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at Dr. Turtleboy. That's at DOCTOR Turtleboy. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you're new here. If you're not new here, make sure you've hit the notification bell. Everyone should hit the notification bell so you can get alerted when we go live for some impromptu lives, because we do this every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. But we also do some random ones. We've done actually the last 2 nights I've done streams on Sunday and Monday night. So there's 4 nights in a row of Turtleboy. So there we go. You're gonna want to hit that notification bell. I got sent this in the mail today. Isn't this shirt sweet? I mean, it's a little small, but it works out well. I like it. It's comfortable. It's smooth. It's silky, and I like the big letters there. I don't know. I like the shirt a lot. So nice shirt. You lose it. Somebody sent it to me, so I can't take credit for this one. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I'd vote for that ticket. Definitely would vote for that ticket. No, it's okay. It's like I don't know how they say I'm small, so you must. Jenna sent it to me, and I guess I don't know if I look small in public. It's a medium. I'm more of a large, but that's cool. I can make a medium work. But anyway, so that's that. All right, cool. Yeah, like I said, be here every Tuesday and Saturday at 9. Although this Saturday we're postponing the show until Sunday because I'm doing the Notre Dame Ohio State football game. I'm a Notre Dame fan. They're undefeated right now. In college football, it's one of those things. If you miss one game, you're fucked. Like if we lose, the season's over. I don't have to worry about them anymore. But if they win, then we'll see what happens. So, okay. All right. So anyway, folks, what was I going to say? Yeah, I think I got it all. All right. So listen up. I also, if anybody wants to donate to the program, I think it should be pinned to the top. It should be pinned to the top there of the chat. A little thing called Turtle Chat. You can click on that link. You can donate whatever amount of money you want, and you get to write a message. When you do, I will get it in my inbox, and I will read that message out loud to the class. I can also do cash apps at $ Uncle Turtleboy. If you guys like to do it that way, $ Uncle Turtleboy. We can hook it up that way. And we've already got a couple cash apps. Let me read some of them out real quick. Okay, Seymour Butts sends $10 and says, I want to tongue punch Morrissey's fart box. Ew. Oh, you sicko. Okay. We have here Daddy's well manicured nips sends $5, says, does Daddy's juicy nips lactate? No, you can't get any milk out of me. I got nothing. Sorry. Wade Stevens sends $10 and says, can we get some Canton Roulette tonight? We might do some Canton Roulette. We'll see if we can get some numbers. I need some numbers. I got to get this guy's number that I did the blog on yesterday. We got to get that guy's number. $5 here from JB says, what's up with that little lib moron Riccio? He's not worth talking about. I will not give that guy any platform on my thing. He's a loser. He has to beg for a kidney on Twitter, and his life is trolling people on the internet. I mean, it's a very, very sad existence. And I feel like we shouldn't add to that. Yeah, cool. Oh, yeah. And then JH Goose sends $50 earlier today. He says, amazing crowd on Friday. See you on December 8th. Absolutely. I can't wait for that one. Nicole sent $5 earlier. She says, CC Warriors are with you, Karen. Absolutely. Alicia Smith also sent $25 earlier and said, a job well done. Thank you very much, Alicia. And I'm getting another one here. Hold on, let me read it. I just got one. Let's see, from Frank K. and Sharon. They both sent them. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Sharon sends $15 and says, for truth, love, thank you, Daddy. You're very welcome, Sharon. I appreciate that. Frank K sends $10 and says, explain how serious the grand jury is to this. I don't know what that means. A grand jury is very serious, especially if they choose to indict you for a crime. Karen Reed is being charged with murder right now because of a grand jury. So, but again, grand juries can, they only need 50% of the grand jurors to indict, and only one side gets to present evidence during a grand jury. So, like Karen Reed's side wasn't even heard during the grand jury. So it was basically just the Adam Lally show. And we know how that goes. We know how charismatic he can be. Also on the Turtle Chat, we got $5 from M, who says, I have an easy life hack I've used for years to share with those who don't like everything Turtleboy does. Don't interact with the content that you don't care for. That has worked for me every time. That's a beautiful way. I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of newbies commenting and saying, it's just like, oh, the language, Turtleboy. Okay, yeah, I realize that. Yep, been over this. I should definitely not swear as much. My mom doesn't like it. I get it. It's a turn off. I'm trying. Sometimes I just can't help it. Like I kind of lost control with Bukkake, with Trooper Bukkake. I couldn't help it. I just hate that guy. I really hate him. Like he's framing an innocent woman for murder. Like it's hard to keep those emotions in sometimes. So I let it get the best of me. I'll be more professional next time. I promise. The Rumble stream should be up right now. Is it not going? Did it not freaking work? Oh, it's not working? Oh, God. I guess the Rumble stream isn't working. So the 91 people over there, hopefully they come over to... Oh, for Christ's sake. I always screw that up. All right. Anyway, so we have a guest on. We're going to bring him on in a minute, but... Oh, someone just sent me a picture of that. Okay. So here's the deal. So yeah, if anyone wants to donate, they can do it that way. I'll read them through periodically throughout the show. And yeah, like I said, if you came on last night, I really haven't had time to like fully digest what happened on Friday just because of the weekend and everything. And then you jump right back into stories on Monday, more shit's going on. it's just a lot's going to happen. The next Karen Reed court date is on December 8th. The trial is set for March 12th. And then there's another one on, isn't there one in November too? There should be I forget. I could have sworn there was one in November. There's like 3 more before the trial starts. But we'll see if we get there. We got a long way to go, obviously, before that happens. But okay. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. The Rumble didn't work, so there's that. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so the guest that I'm going to bring on in a moment, I've been on his program before. Actually, I was on a mutual program where we both went on there with the West Virginia boys. And his name is Bob Motta. He's a defense attorney who, from Chicago who runs the Defense Diaries. That's his channel and his YouTube handle. So give him a sub if you haven't already. Bob has taken an interest in this story, and he's obviously team sanity. That's what I call us. Like, we're not team like pro criminal or anything like that. We're just team sanity. We see it for what it is. And I obviously like to have an attorney's perspective on this, an outsider's perspective. I think that makes you feel sane when, you know, you're like, get somebody who's not from around here who comments on something, and it's like they confirm what you are saying and what you're thinking. You're like, okay, good. I'm not alone. I'm good. I'm not actually crazy. Right. So this is, and I don't feel crazy at all. Like, I feel like they're crazy. Like, if you think Karen Reed's Lexus, the damage on that Lexus caused that sort of injuries to John O'Keefe, like, you're kind of crazy. Like, you're really crazy if you actually believe that. So, oh yeah, we should get Merb on. I mean, Merb's more into the drama, but I'll invite Merb on sometime if he wants to talk about this. But okay, so I'm gonna bring on here Bob Motta. How you doing, Bob?
I'm awesome, man. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Love being here.
For those of us unfamiliar with your background, tell us who you are and where you're from, what you do.
So did the criminal defense lawyer thing for about 22 years. Tough gig, man. Tough gig. Yeah, started to get a little burnt out on that. Told my wife, I'm like, yo, I got these Gacy tapes that my old man gave me because he was Gacy's lawyer back in 78. And I'm like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. I can tell a pretty good story because I've been a trial lawyer for a long time. I can write a little bit. I got a pretty decent radio voice. So I was like, you know, and she was my law partner. So it was a big ask because I was like dumping all the shit on her. So, you know, I said, because if I'm going to go all in on the pod, I'm going all in. There's no half-assing it. I got to, like, I'm taking the risk and I'm going to do it. So a couple half years ago, I started the podcast, did the Gacy season, did a second season on Garcia, which was a crazy case that we handled out of Omaha, Nebraska. Doctor that had allegedly, now convicted, killed 4 people over 5 years. Crazy case, man.
Garcia? What's his first name?
Anthony, Dr. Anthony Garcia.
I'll have to Google that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Or just listen to the pod, dude. It's better than anything.
Is the pod called Defense Diaries? Is that where people can find it? Okay,
Yep.
Cool. So
yeah, I'm gonna wear this shirt here for the whole fucking show. So everybody,
absolutely, man. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So,
yeah, no, man, I did the criminal law thing, criminal defense attorney for a long time, man. You know, so then when I pivoted into the pod, I obviously started getting real active in the true crime community. Love it. Love the passion.
This is my first time. I'm new. So
dude,
I like it.
Well, you see what it is, man. People,
pretty
like,
wild.
It's crazy. They like when they love us, they love us. You know, when they hate
this
us,
might be my new thing. I'm like, it's exciting. I don't think most of them are going to be like the Karen Reed case where it's just so easy to root for the defendant.
Yeah, dude, you lucked into that one, man, because that case is like
because some of these are ridiculous. Like, you know, that guy Adnan Syed, the guy from Serial, did he do it?
I don't know, dude. Like I'm a fence guy on that. Like, so we're doing the Stephen Avery case on my podcast.
Did he do it?
I don't know. Like, that's so my thing is, I was a lawyer for a long time, man. Like, I'm digging into the files, reading all the police reports. I got to come to my own conclusion because I don't trust making a murder. I don't trust convicting a murder. They have agendas. I don't trust anything with an agenda. I have to look at shit and digest it myself and come to the conclusion myself based on my own observations, my own thoughts. I don't need to hear what anybody else thinks. And, you know, that's good on them. They can do that all day. Everyone can have their own opinions. I just don't personally trust anybody other than my own. So what we're doing with Avery is we're going through the whole thing, man. It's like going to be the most in-depth Avery thing that's ever been done. We're already on 6 episodes. It's probably going to be 20, 25 episodes. It's going to be like insane. We're going through every police report, every pretrial motion was filed, the trial transcripts, and then Zellner, who is his attorney now, who's been filing these PCRAs. So it's going to be the most in-depth thing that's ever been done on that with no agenda. So if people want to know about that case, because making a murder, you know, they went in thinking the dude was innocent. So they kept out shit. Convicting a murderer, they go in thinking he's guilty. So they just slant it and, they put things in certain places and they take things out of context. And I'm not about that. So, have
you watched Trial 4 on Netflix? That's out of Boston. It's very similar. A black guy who spent 22 years in prison.
Oh,
I'm on like part 5 right now.
Yeah, dude, where he went to trial. They brought him to trial 4
times. He got 2 mistrials, conviction. And then I assume he gets out because I'm on the 4th one right now. So
I do remember, and I'm not going to tell you the answer. So
I'm guessing he's out. So but it's just like I you know what? I watched Trial 4 and I've watched Making a Murder and I've watched, I've listened to the Serial podcast and all that stuff. And I leave there thinking I'm like, I don't know. And I guess that's what makes it intriguing.
Right.
What makes the Karen Reed story so unique is that you look at it and you're just like, this like universal agreement amongst fair, open-minded, non-grifting, like non-Coffin Davers of the world.
Right.
Like we are like who obviously just is full of shit and is not an honest person. Like amongst honest people, we all look at this and we're like, oh yeah, this is duh.
Dude. Well, when I first ran into it, and I'm trying to think, I can't remember if I saw you on a stream. I hadn't heard of the case, right? So I had no predisposition, and I never would anyway, man. I always wait till I can get some actual facts, because I don't give a shit what anybody says. I want to see facts. So when I ran into your first, it was a stream or like I had read a story and I'm like, oh man, this case sounds insane. And somebody's like, oh, yo, check out Turtleboy's site. Go to his YouTube too. And then I think I watched your like, whatever it is, like 29 things that you have to like whatever it was. It was like 29 things that you would have to believe in order to believe that Karen Reed had like hit him and killed him. So I was like, and I like from that point forward, I was all in. My girl, like Sleuthy, I hit her up. I'm like, dude,
she's great. I've tried to get her on. She's got a busy schedule.
She's like with
this other chick on Twitter, Olivia. I've recently started following her. I don't know if she's come up on your radar yet. She's fantastic. I forget her exact handle right now. I've retweeted her a bunch of times. I love a good Twitter account. I love a good informative Twitter account.
It is
that I can learn stuff from.
It really is. And Sleuthy, she just digs in, dude. She's
great. She's great.
She's unbelievable. And I was like, I had been begging her. I'm like, oh, I got this other thing that I'm looking at. But like, so I knew when I brought up this case, because I was trying to steer her away from Kohberger. Because like once she locked into that, like she was
that's the trendy true crime one right now is Kohberger.
And when she goes all in on stuff, she goes all in. You know what I'm saying? Like she digs, but she's like she's fact based, man. She's not coming with bullshit. She always comes with the receipts. That's why I followed the Kohberger case when he was first arrested. I read the charging documents. I did a little stream on it, just kind of going over it. It seemed like it was pretty strong evidence. I mean, I haven't looked into it since. Is that he's not comparable to Karen Reed, right? We're not putting them in the same. No.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
I mean, look, there is definitely a pro Kohberger camp. All right, where people are like, but you've got to have a lot of things go right in order for it to not be him. I mean, there's a ton of holes in what the problem is. The difference between Karen Reed's case and Kohberger's is we're seeing everything in Karen Reed's case. Everything's getting laid out. Like when Jackson came out and basically just laid out what the defense's theory was, we all became privy to it. And we're like, holy shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? With that case, everything's under seal.
Oh, and Brandy, I don't want to forget Brandy. Is her last name Churchill? Yeah, she does.
Yep.
She's doing a fantastic job. She just put out her second part of her podcast recently. I'm going to give that a listen. Highly recommend checking her out. I'd like to have her on.
She's my homegirl too. So like I knew she was dropping that. I actually listened to it. She was nervous about dropping it because it was her first pod. And I'm like, you just got to go all in, like, cause she's another one, like her kind of start was with the Murdoch trial in terms of Twitter. And she made like these incredible charts where she's graphing everything in the same way that like Sleuthy does. Like those two women to me are the ultimate chart makers. Like they make our lives easier. They do the hard work for us. They break down timelines for us and they do it all. And you can trust it. That's the thing you want to be able to do is trust it. So so I listened to it. I thought she did a great job with the first episode. I haven't listened to the second if it's dropped yet, but if y'all haven't listened to it, definitely listen to it because she's crushing the game there. So man.
Did you watch Friday's hearing?
I did. Well, in preparation for this, I did.
Okay, gotcha. What are your initial thoughts? What stood out to you the most from Friday's hearing?
Man, like typical par for the course bullshit. Like a lot of hemming and hawing, a lot of jibber jabber, a lot of left and right, a lot of up and down, a lot of lawyers speak, a lot of pernicious, and all the shit that they all do. And at the end of the day, the way that I came away from, especially with the discovery stuff, right? I mean, we're a year and a half into this case. To me, it's obscene that things are still in the lab. We got 56 items that still are sitting in a lab that the defense has not even gotten their hands on. It's, because somebody's life is at stake here.
Have you ever dealt with a prosecutor like this before? Like Adam Lally, who's just always just like checks in the mail. That like he's one of those guys. Like, oh yeah, so he's always got like the kid that forgot his homework. So we sent it over, and then the email file wasn't big enough, and it just keeps talking about why he doesn't have the testing done yet.
Yeah.
And,
you'll get answer your question. Yes. Like I don't want to cast aspersions on all prosecutors because there do exist good prosecutors in this world somewhere. I'm not sure where they are, but I know they exist somewhere. But yeah, you know what? It's like that was part of the frustration of practicing law for 20 years from the criminal defense side of it is like you're dealing with prosecutors who are very narrow-minded and they when they lock in on a tunnel vision suspect or they've arrested somebody and they get that tunnel vision, there's no talking to them. It's like the frustration that everyone feels with Lally, where you're like, are you like blind? Like, are you because like if I'm Jack,
are you human? That's what I think when I hear him talk. I'm like, are you human?
I would try to be having like actual like human to human, like out of the courtroom, backroom shit with this guy, being like, look, dude, are you like serious with this? It's like, you have the in court, persona, and then you got the shit that goes on outside of the courtroom, and that's where and I'm a genuine guy, but and I'm trying to go to like prosecutors to be like, yo, like, I mean, are you looking at the same shit that I'm looking at? Like, what is your angle here? And we know at this point, like, pleas are off the table. Karen's not pleading to shit.
No.
So at this point, he's so dug in that he can't back out of it. You know what I mean? Like that for him, no matter how much shit is falling on top of him, he's so dug in that he's not in a position to where he's going to be able to say, you know what? We're just going to drop the charges. So he'd rather go to trial and lose, which is what's going to happen, than do the right thing. Cause it's an easier move for him, because
I do wonder about like, do they have not that like they have any evidence up their sleeve, but I'm wondering, it's just their cockiness makes me wonder, like, do they have some sort of plan here about like her keeping certain evidence out of court? Like I don't know what she's allowed to do and what she's not allowed to do, but nothing surprises me with this case anymore. Like they canceled an evidentiary hearing the day before they canceled after everyone had flown in. And it's like, I have no doubt they will try to keep those Google searches out of as evidence. I have no doubt
that is not going to be like something that's going to be like dropped on our heads like a bomb. Like they're going to have a full blown, because what they call it is a motion in limine. So like, and I'm always telling people, I'm like, really, the real battles in any criminal case are not the trials. That's the culmination of everything. The real battles are what we're watching now. The fight to get the discovery, the beefs between the state and the defense saying, we want this, we want that, we want this, we want that, and they're not giving it to us, and we want to know why. That happens in every case. Some cases it goes to a greater extent, others it doesn't, but I've never had a case where the state's like, oh yeah, here, it's always a fight. They have all the resources, they have all the money.
Usually, does it seem often like at the end of the day, have you seen prosecutors, or is it the norm for prosecutors to go after someone who they know to be innocent? Because that appears to be what's happening here. Like, they know she's innocent, and they know that Google search is real, and they know all this stuff. They know she didn't hit him with that car, and they're still pushing forward anyway. Have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah, and the thing with this one is, I think when they went into it, that they didn't think that she was innocent. I think that when things started to come to light, that I have to assume that the dude's got a brain in his head, right?
So why not drop it then?
Right, because that's what I'm saying. They're so dug in, that's where you can't get them to relent, and it's not it's not just him. It's like all of them do that. You'd have to have some kind of smoking gun evidence, and this is never going to happen in this case because it's literally this or that. One of two things happened. Either he got his ass beat in that house and they dragged him out there, either hoping that he would die or hoping that he wouldn't die and hoping that he just wouldn't remember when he woke up out there. He's like, oh, it's fucked up, man. How did I get out here? Or, that when he's out there for 2 hours and then Jen's like, oh shit, man, this guy's been out there for 2 hours. Is he going to die? It's because her text is construed either one of two ways. Either they're hoping he's going to die, so she wants to see, or they're concerned that he's going to die because he's just been laying there in the front yard for 2 hours.
I don't think anyone's going to argue that. I don't think anyone's going to argue that.
So, but it's one of those two things, or the other option is that she bumped him and hit him. But dude, no one can look at the facts of the case. And to me, the thing that just is inexplicable is that the arm injuries could never have been done by anything other than that dog. Chloe tore that dude's arm up, and there's no one that's going to tell me otherwise. There's no set of circumstances where you're going to be able to convince me that those injuries to his arm were caused by anything other than a dog. And it certainly wasn't by that Lexus. It certainly wasn't by that little bump. Dude, I don't care if she hit him 30 miles an hour. It's still not causing scratches on his arms like that. He had a hoodie on. He had long sleeves on. During a nor'easter.
How are they going to explain that in court? They don't even have yet. Trial is 6 months away. They don't even have an explanation for how the car caused those. What do you think they're going to say in court is going to be the explanation for how those scratches?
Are you asking me to put my prosecutor hat on? And
devil's advocate. Somebody's going to have to do this eventually. There's this guy named Kevin from another YouTube channel that shall not be named who attempted to make the case, and he did a Sim City recreation where you got to see this video.
Check it out. Send me the link.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a cocktail glass in the middle of the street, and he bends over in the middle of the street, and then the car backs into his head. And it's okay, that's insane, but at least that's a theory. The prosecution doesn't have a theory about how any of this happened, and I don't know what they're going to say.
And here's the other problem. So we've got all of John O'Keefe's clothes that the defense has never laid eyes on ever. All right. And I want to, how many questions do you think that's going to answer in terms of what the arm on his sweatshirt looks like? You know what I'm saying? That is going to tell a tale, man. You know what I mean? Have we seen the clothes anywhere? Have we seen them laid out?
Seen them on the floor right here, actually. So let me show you this. So this is from the hearing. So this is David Yanetti's talking here, and how Alan Jackson and his crew like to do business is they like to do the billboard, the poster board thing. They love doing that in court. It's been very effective. They put the dog scratches on there. And so this time around, the image that they had is an image of how John's clothes were handled that we haven't seen before. So they attempt to show the judge and watch how
pile at Proctor's.
Yeah. Watch this. Watch this.
Tiny pieces of tail light. For those to have any evidentiary value,
You have to trust the person who had custody of John O'Keefe's clothing before it was sent to the lab.
So, Ms. Little, I'm not looking at any, if you show them to the audience before you show them to me, I'm not going to look at them. Okay, please put that down.
Please put that down.
Mr. Yannetti, do you have chalks for your bail? Please put that down.
Like that, dude, that was so awkward being in the court when that happened. First of all, she said, if you show those to the audience before you show them to me, then I'm not going to look at, and she didn't show them to the audience. So it's just like,
yeah,
it was almost like just telling her, like, don't do this for the cameras. Just show me. So she did. And she's like, get that out of my face. I don't want to see that.
Tell you, dude, like if I'm in that courtroom as defense counsel, I'm getting a shit vibe from her. Like I know they want to be removed. I mean, dude, it's like her refusing to recuse herself to me is a little strange. And I like
she investigated herself and she determined that she was not biased. So there's that,
which is scary. You know, like the good thing about it is in a trial, when it's a jury trial, all the judges is a gatekeeper of the evidence. And when you get to trial, you know, objections are made. You do worry about pretrial though. Like that's where we worry about her. That's where we worry about like those motions in limine that I was talking about, where there's motions to try to exclude things from being brought into evidence. Cause like, that's what I was saying. The whole battle before any trial, the real war is pretrial with all these motions that are going forward because the state's trying to keep shit out. They're trying to get shit in. The defense is trying to keep shit out. They're trying to get shit in. They're trying to get their hands on evidence. You know, so all those things take place before trial. What we're seeing at trial is the culmination of all those battles. And, you know, because like in every case, you're going to see like, because we're watching this case as it proceeds, like how furious are you going to be if she rules that somehow the Google information is inadmissible? Like you're going to be on your stream here screaming, red-faced, veins popping out of your neck. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? You know, because it's like, we know that evidence exists, right? But she's not letting it in, which means the jury's not going to hear it.
Right.
So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, these pretrial battles are the whole thing, man, because that's when we really get to see everything that's out there. Because a lot of times you get a sanitized version of the evidence at trial because certain things are excluded. They're found to be inadmissible. So like now we're getting to see all of it. And we just have to hope that she's going to rule in the right way and she's not going to do anything shady because, you know, if she does, like if God forbid she kept that search out, because that search is everything. That search is
it's one of the most important pieces of evidence.
Like, without that search, I mean, as soon as the jury hears about that search, the case is over.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think the strongest evidence is Lucky Loughran saying there's no body there. I think that's the best. How do you beat that? Eyewitness.
You know what? Like you grill him. You know, if the prosecutor's gonna say, all right, you know,
Lucky stands out. He's been grilled 4 times now and told the same fucking story. FBI, state police, private investigator, Turtleboy. Same fucking story. He's like the most laid back guy. He's just like, he takes the one thing in life that guy takes seriously is plowing. Like you're not going to tell him that like 18 years on the job. And he's almost insulted that anyone would suggest he wouldn't see a dead body there. Like, no, fuck, like, you know, like, fuck you. Right. Like, it was my first day, you know, like, no, I saw it. And he knows the Alberts. Like the Alberts thought that he was in their corner. If you go back on, his wife passed away in April, and on his page, you know, Chris Alberts in the comments offering to like bring food over and help him out as much as possible because keeping Lucky silent was a big thing for the Alberts. Like he had not been discovered. And then I came along and I found him. And as it turns out, the PI had already spoken with him. And that's the other thing about this case is the defense, they have shit up their sleeve that they can't show yet. Like shit like that, because they have to worry about how is the prosecution going to lie about this when this comes out? Like that Google search comes out. They assume that's game over. And then they're like, nope, they're just going to say it's not real. There's going to, the definition of gaslighting.
Dude, and like the way, like y'all out there, you have what they call reciprocal discovery. So if you've got like anything, and what that means is anything that either side is going to present at trial, they've got to give notice to the other side. There's no like gotcha shit going on. Like you can't just do it. So I mean, but they're not going to be able to do anything with him. Like he's going to be a witness. He's going to testify. They're like, he said what he said. He said it 4 times and he's locked in on that. He's not going to come in on the stand. They're not going to be able to impeach him as long as he's solid. And you're saying he's solid. I mean, he's gold, man, you know, and like you said, like you've got that nice angle that he's tight with the Alberts on top of it. So he's definitely not got an agenda. That gives him more credibility than anybody. Because if he had any reason to lie, it would probably have been on behalf of the Alberts, and he's clearly not lying. You know what I mean? That gives him a ton of credibility on the stand. They're not going to be able to do a thing with him. They're not going to be able to exclude him. There's no reason in the world they'd be able to keep him off the stand ever. So don't worry about that. He's testifying for sure. And at this point, everybody knows about him.
About Lucky, right, exactly. Yeah. Now the last hearing was about one of the big things that they're trying to do is get Karen's bail reduced, right? And just to show you how biased this judge is, or just how openly, you know, first of all, she's hearing when she heard the Lucky stuff for the first time in court. If I'm the judge and I'm hearing that, I'm thinking like, why am I just hearing this now? Like this is completely changes everything. None of this seems to mean a goddamn thing to her. How long to die in cold did it mean anything? None of this means anything to her. Right. But she will get on the defense for the smallest shit. So at the last hearing, one of the motions they're trying to do is get her $80,000 in bail back. And the argument they're making is that she has to pay out of pocket to do the job that the state police are really supposed to do. Like she's had to hire private investigators to talk to Lucky Laughlin. That's the state police's job. They didn't do that. And so this costs her a lot of money and she can't work and you took her license away. So what is she supposed to do? Like, how is she supposed to survive? And keep in mind, this judge is also a former public defender. I'm sure very liberal, like should be on the side of the defendant who has no money or has no income stream. Right. But
you would think.
At the same time, she kind of roots for underdogs, I feel like. And in this case, it's a rare situation where the prosecution is the underdog. Like they're underhanded here. Like they don't have facts on their side. They have much weaker attorneys, etc. And so David Yannetti starts talking about it and she grills him over this affidavit. I don't know if you saw this.
I did see it. I did.
The multiple experts she needs to properly defend herself. I did not file that electronically. I did not file.
He starts talking about the experts. Listen to what she says.
I did not file that.
Remix.
Important changed circumstances that have come to light since bail was last considered and modified. We also make this request because my client's finances continue to be drained and depleted as she struggles to pay the multiple experts she needs to properly defend herself in this case.
So before we go any further, I saved this motion to the end because you indicated that I would have an affidavit from your client as to her finances. I do not have that.
Yes, I did not file that electronically. I had told your clerk.
But I still don't have it now.
I have it in my hand, Your Honor.
So that doesn't help, does it, Mr. Yannetti? I need to read it.
No, I'm happy to pass it up.
So just give it to me and let me read it.
I just need to clarify. These are expenses since the last bail.
And then she asked the state if they got a copy, and he's like, I'd file it ex parte, which means he wants the state.
Right, one party, right? Yeah. And so she reads it over, and then listen to what she says after she reads it over, like her first reaction to this.
In your time as a prosecutor, too, you've seen affidavits of indigency.
Yes.
But this doesn't give me enough information.
Well,
doesn't give me enough information under Brangan. Doesn't give me enough information at all.
My client has expended multiple, fees to not only experts but also to lawyers.
Yannetti's not quite as silver-tongued as Jackson is he?
No, he's not. I mean, he gets to the point eventually.
Yeah, he's good, but like Jackson's got that silver tongue, man. He
does, and she hates Jackson more than anyone else.
Yeah, he's like isn't he like a LA guy?
Yeah, and she just hates his style. She's a small town. Guy. She's a small town judge in Norfolk County. And she's just like, this is my county, like not his. I've lived here my whole life. Who the fuck is this guy?
Right. Bring your ass back to LA.
Right.
You're back there in your fucking $5,000 suits. Get the fuck out of my courtroom type shit. Yeah, so you can sense that from her big time, dude. Like her, like that whole little exchange there.
like getting on him about him about the affidavit, and just like this small fucking minor thing. And like, you know, you're meanwhile, how about the prosecution? Like, they haven't handed over 56 pieces of evidence. Are you going to get on them? Are you going to get ask them why they didn't interview Lucky Laughlin or any of this shit? Like, why are you, you know, none of it. But the affidavit isn't electronically filed, and you have it printed out here. So I'm going to bust your balls. It was almost like she had a plan going into it. Like, I'm going to ignore everything, and I'm going to bust his balls about this one.
Well, she didn't rule on anything. You know, you thought that like she would have had some kind of like going into it today. Well, she set a trial date. She did that.
No, today she ruled on one of the motions.
She did, but
ruled in the Commonwealth favor to. The Commonwealth is asking for the alarm.com footage from Karen Reed's parents' house, and they're going to get it. I mean, they didn't oppose it. So it's like Karen Reed's people probably want them to see that. Like, yeah, you're going to see when you get there, the taillight's intact and it gets towed at 4:12, not 5:30. So Michael Proctor lied. I don't know what they're hoping to prove.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it's like, so I wanted to ask you, are they appealing the decision for the Alberts not having to turn over their phone?
Yep.
Like that's up there, right? They're appealing
100% confirmed. We know that today because Brian Albert's attorney opposed it. Like, his attorney opposed it. So now we know it's that motion because like his attorney only was brought in for that one thing. So yeah, I mean, and I assume they got a good shot. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? The Supreme Judicial Court has 7 judges, and this is what they exist to do: fix mistakes by lower court judges. And this seems like that, like it's not a fishing expedition.
Well, it's not. And beyond that, it's what the cops should have done on the first place. How do you not go into the house of a yard where a man is dead and he is alleged to have gone in there or not gone in there? Either way, how do you not go into that house and investigate at all? Dude, it, like, to me, it was the most insane. Like, that was what got me on this case more than anything, that they just did nothing with respect to going. Because once you start hearing it's cops, like a cop dead, it's a cop's house, and you start seeing how shit was handled, you know, then you know right away what's going on. You know, there's no explanation. Dude, if that was our crib, if somebody was laying
they're coming in. They're coming in.
Somebody's dead on my front yard, I guarantee you they're coming in and searching every inch of my house looking for evidence to make sure he didn't die in my house.
You know what? I would also like wake up and be like, why the fuck are there like fire trucks on my lawn? I'm gonna go outside. Like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, what's up? What's up? Why is there a woman yelling about a dead body? What's happening? There's a dead guy on my lawn. Oh, he's a coworker. What, the guy that was supposed to be last night? Oh shit! Oh
it's
wow!
Crazy. It's crazy.
And by the way, you know, I pointed this out earlier. It's like allegedly their story is that they were sleeping. Right? The Karen Reed's attorneys only want his data from 12 to 6, when he was supposedly sleeping. So there's nothing like even on there. Right?
Like a baby.
On there. Yeah, like a baby.
Yeah.
You know, I found out today, you know, cops have burner phones, right? And so I had an inside tip today from somebody who gave me 2 of Brian Albert's burner phones, which I have then passed on to the appropriate sources. And apparently they didn't have these. They didn't have these before. So they actually, there is his Boston police phones, I guess, city issued devices. Now, I don't know if he used those to communicate anything. We'll see. But the fact of the matter is he never disclosed that. And that's shady in and of itself. And he had to he retired recently. And when you do that, you have to hand in your phone. And I guess that's public record. So somebody got that for me, his 2 numbers. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome.
When that's investigated.
I mean, I don't understand the judge's rationale as to why she doesn't think it's relevant. When she knows, because dude, like, look, like they came with receipts. Like, it wasn't just the defense coming with some bullshit. They came in with the theory. As soon as she became aware of this Google search, if I'm the judge on that case, I'm saying, I want to see it. Like, they want to see it. You're turning it over because I like, look, the search here is for justice, right? The search is for the truth here.
Right.
How can you get the truth if you're only getting half the story? You can't get it, you know? So you got to like, I'm requiring them to turn everybody that was in that house. You're turning your phone over, and they're going to do a Cellubrite extraction. We're going to see what's up, and then we'll see how it shakes out. I mean, if I'm the judge, it's like there's no question I'm ruling that way. Period. not just Albert's, all of them, because there had to have been communication at some point when people start leaving. They're like, oh shit, is he still in the front yard? And is he still there? And all those kind of little communications that are taking place, they had to have occurred because they just had to in that type of situation. No one's going to walk away from that situation without hitting somebody up, without being nervous. It's like natural. The days of Tony Soprano meeting in the basement, like face to face. Those nobody does that anymore. It's a text, it's an email, it's a phone call. Because who has the time to coordinate that? They don't have to. Time was of the essence at 12:30 at night when John O'Keefe 100%. Is bleeding out on the floor. You got to figure this shit out. You can't walk to somebody else's house to ask them, can you come help us? You need to make a phone call, right? Michael 100%. Proctor doesn't have ESP. You have to. The message has to be sent to him somehow. Exactly.
We need you. We need Proctor on this.
There's no question. There's communications going back and forth. I don't understand. We have to hope that there's some brains up on the appellate level, and typically they're smarter.
Oh, there are. And they're 7. That's the beauty of it. It's a majority. So even if one of them doesn't, the odds are that the majority will get it right.
You just need a 4-3 count.
That's it. And that's what appeals courts exist to do. And that's a big reason why Sean Ellis got caught, got another trial, because of the SJC. They gave him a new. So there's a lot of this, and we'll see. So that's going to be a game changer if they get that phone. Obviously, it should lead to a dismissal, but with this judge, you just can assume that's never going to happen. You could find there's nothing you could do to get this judge to be like, yeah, we should dismiss this because clearly this woman's innocent.
Right. You could find the weight plate with pieces of his hair and blood on it in their house, and she still wouldn't dismiss it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's
a murder weapon.
I know. The only thing that would convince me that Karen Reed was guilty, the only thing is a video of her hitting him. That's it. And even then I'd be like, you never know with these motherfuckers what they would do. But a Karen Reed confession to me would be useless. I wouldn't fucking believe it. No First of all, there's false confessions. No fucking way. Unless I see it, I'm because these people have lied so much. I will just assume everything they say is a lie. When they came out with the recent microscopic taillight found on his clothes, it's like, of course, we all just laugh. We're like, of course you found, of course you did, of course,
dude, and the hair thing.
The hair thing, yeah. Can we talk about that? Man. So, the hair that they've been talking about this entire time, right? This hair found in the right rear quarter panel of her car, which even if it is John's hair, who gives a shit? It doesn't. They live together. It doesn't fucking matter. But as it turns out, it's not even human, and it might not even be hair, because it was tested by a woman by the name of Maureen Hartnett. She's the Massachusetts State Police criminalist, right?
Right. And as a proficiency test for the exact thing that she was testing.
And we found that out in court, and the whole courtroom starts laughing.
Yeah. By the way,
what did you think about the decorum in court with everybody laughing and clapping and the outbursts?
I've never seen anything like it ever,
right?
Dude. To me, that was classic Massachusetts shit.
It's not. It's I've been in Massachusetts. That doesn't happen.
It was crazy. To me, it was like Boston Tea Party, fucking people clapping in court.
That.
I'm like, that shit would never happen here. Judges would be losing their shit, banging the gavel if they still have them. I don't even think they fuck with gavels anymore. But they'd be getting the bailiff. They'd be screaming, "Shut it down!" You know what I mean? It was crazy. My favorite part, I'm not gonna lie, and I know you already apologized for it to your, the people who you swear too much. But when you had that bullhorn on that dude, man, that made my day. I don't care what.
When Bukkake came through,
yes, dude, it was so good. It was. I call you a gonzo journalist. That's what you are. You're a gonzo journalist. You're like Hunter S. Thompson. You're out there just in the shit. You know what I mean? I love that. That literally that video made my entire day. I watched it probably 10 times. It was so funny, man.
I see this guy and I'm just like, I should keep my composure, but he just upsets me. He just it angers me what he's doing. Especially when he interviewed Lucky Laughlin. That's what really pissed me off. I read this entire interview, and Lucky Laughlin tells him there is a Ford Edge at 3:00 in the morning parked right where the body is. And at no point do they make any attempt to figure out who's driving that Ford Edge. Instead, they're like, so Did he tape you? How do you remember that whole, like the whole thing turns into an interrogation about two-party consent, because Massachusetts is a two-party consent state. So like they turn this whole thing about like, how can we get Turtleboy on this? And it's just like, do you not care there's a dead cop? Is there not a code with police? I like that you can't kill cops. I thought that was a thing. You can't kill cops. Apparently you can, as long as you're a cop too. Like that I guess that's the rule I didn't know about.
You know, that's what I'm saying, man. It go like in the search for the truth in the criminal justice system, dude, is just slippery. It's like, you know, there's a difference between justice as it's perceived and what the truth is always in courts of law, man. It's like, you know, because you always have to remember a lot of, like, a majority of the country, when they're jammed up on something and they're in court, they don't have the resources that Karen has. They can't get Alan Jackson's flying in from California. They can't get the experts that they need in order to prove their case. And you know, we're not supposed to have to prove the case. That's entirely on the burden of the state, you know. But as you see here, we're seeing very clearly that Karen Reed is having to prove that she's innocent, you know, which is bullshit.
Because she's going the third party, you know,
she has to
the culprit route. Yeah,
100%. But like that's a motion that I typically will file. Like if like in that Garcia case, like our investigator had found somebody that we liked for it. And then we sent it off to our DNA guy, Carl Reich, who is a fucking genius. He's a Chicago guy. Like when Jackson was talking about the microscopic guy in Chicago, I was thinking that you might be talking about Carl Reich. If they get Carl Reich on it, but he's really a DNA guy, but the guy's brilliant, and he's brilliant because he can break DNA down for lay people so that they can understand it. Because when you get like a super dry DNA expert witness on there, and they're just talking for 2 hours, the jury's just shutting it down. Right. But at the end of the day, none of that shit's going to matter in this case. This case is going to boil down to like reasonable doubt for the two things. You got lucky, you got the text message going out at 2:37. And then you add the bonus of, you know, the dog bite and dog scratches on the arm.
And you might have some key, you might have some key witnesses pleading the fifth for like in this, like,
Sure.
Brian Albert and Jen McCabe are going to be in a position where they're going to have to plead the fifth in some stuff. That I would assume that's a horrible look for state witnesses.
It's a terrible look. And like that. So that's where Jackson and Yannetti can really, that's where they hold their cards up against their chest. They're real tight to the chest, because they're digging into all of those people, so that when they get them on the stand and they lie, that they've got, and they don't have to turn that kind of stuff over, you know, because that's going to be attorney work product. They do not have to give their theory of the case to the prosecution, right? So they are digging. And as soon as they're on that stand, and the first lie they catch them in where they've got receipts on it, it's game. It's game over right there, you know? So they're not like, I cannot wait until, because I was like, I'm going to be honest, dude. I was talking to my, like, so that stream you run, my buddy, the Shaming Jay, we were talking about when this thing goes to trial in March, we're going to go rent a house in Canton and go like,
we'll get to hang.
Yeah, right, dude. Because like that is a trial that I'm fascinated with, man. And I think it's like going to be the first big one coming up. And you know, I give you a ton of credit, dude, because like you really shone a light on this thing in a way that it just wasn't you really need to pat yourself on the back for that, because like you're and I'm serious, dude, because like this was like I hadn't heard of it at all. And then as soon as I kind of got locked into it, I mean, you're just out there. You're just out there in these streets, and you're just screaming at the top of your lungs, man. But it's effective. You know what I mean? Like, how fulfilling is that for you to know that like you're getting the reach that you need to get the eyes? I mean, shit, dude, she's like doing Datelines and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, to me, it's getting the coverage that it needs, because it's that type of case. You know, it's just this little town in Massachusetts where nobody really thought anything of it, and then this whole thing turns into this incredible case, and it's turning out to be like one of the most, you know, from an like an observer's perspective, one of the most fascinating cases you can imagine. You know what I mean? For Karen Reed, it's life or death. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I feel. I almost feel bad enjoying this because it's just like, I feel.
but,
I think about her dad. Yeah, but I get it. You know,
she loves you, dude. Like there's no way that she doesn't. She like, I mean, like you're her biggest champion aside from her attorneys. You know what I'm saying?
And I did this last night. I did like the power index of people who have been influential in this because like I appreciate the compliment. I feel like my role in this has not been to solve the case, but to amplify it and get it to a wider audience. And I feel like I've done that.
Crushing the game, dude.
You know, her lawyers are above me on the, impact. They have done a fantastic job laying this all out. But the real MVP in all this that a lot of people forget about is Karen Reed herself. Like Karen Reed's one of the smartest people I've ever covered. Like it's incredibly, most of this stuff is not coming from Alan Jackson or David Yannetti. Like they don't have time to scour social media all day.
She's working her own case.
Who do you think found that picture of Proctor with Jen McCabe's kids? I'm sure David Yannetti didn't find that. I'm sure she did herself.
100%.
And she would not be able to do any of this were it not for bail. Like if she was stuck in jail, she would be fucked on her own. So like she is kind of the real MVP behind the scenes with a lot of this stuff. I feel like. And speaking of in the streets, I don't know if you saw what happened the other day. So in Canton. On Saturday, I guess, Karen, her attorneys, Liza Little and Alan Jackson, and two 2020 producers, these two young girls, not girls, they're women, they're in their 20s. They go to court. I see them there. You just call them that, and because they're young, I feel like an old fogey.
Right, as soon as you get old, everybody's
they had you in class,
what you mean.
Right. So apparently there was an incident. So what they were doing was they were retracing Karen Reed's midnight ride. So they were starting off at this bar, C.F. McCarthy's, and they were going to go to the waterfall across the street. Well, C.F. McCarthy's is next to D&E Pizza, which is owned by Chris Albert. And apparently they rolled up in like black SUVs and he saw them and he must have thought like, shit, the feds are here. Like, they're coming to arrest me because he freaked out. And apparently he sent out some goon outside because Alan Jackson went into C.F. McCarthy's and some goon, some big lug who works at D&E Pizza, and we're going to talk about him later, but he apparently started going outside, pacing around the bar, chain smoking and acting like a tough guy. And then next thing you know, Jen McCabe's sister and her husband show up. And this is a picture that was taken.
Were they coming to have some mediocre chicken parm?
Yeah. I would not recommend it. Maybe only if they wanted heartburn. But so there's Karen, like this is taken from inside D&E. There's Karen, there's Liza Little, and there's one of the the 2020 producers. And apparently let's see, where are they? That's Jen's sister and her brother and her husband. They showed up and they cornered. And look at these goons. Look at the way who the fuck does this? Every fucking picture, they look like this. It's like, dude,
what are they doing? What is this?
They always do like the hard-o fist thing. Like we're the toughest fucking guys, like look at us. And the centerpiece of every picture is Brian Albert. Like he is the alpha of the family. Like they are so proud of this guy. And that's his middle son, Brennan, who you could tell is like the favorite. This is Brian Albert Jr., who's probably like on the spectrum or something because they keep him he's like, no one's ever once suggested that Brian Albert
words in public.
He's like 6'7", and no one has ever suggested he had anything to do with any of this. He was in the house. Everyone's just like, yeah, obviously he was. Like Matt McCabe was in the house too. And no one's ever been like, I bet Matt McCabe did it. They're like, look at this goofy fuck. Like he didn't do it. But Brian Albert, is like that. And Colin Albert is like this.
Where's Colin? Is this Colin here?
Colin's not old enough to be in this bar. Colin's like 18, and this is Colin's older brother, Chris Jr. And there's Chris right there. And this is the Galvin guy. So I guess they went down there and they went up, they cornered Alan in the bar and were like giving him a hard time because he's trying to talk to the manager and get her bar receipts from that night. I think, I don't know, whatever. And so they went outside and then they followed them out there and they yelled, this is the quote that the source told me, that she yelled, Jen's sister yells, "Get out of my town, go back to Hollywood." And then this fucker comes out who confronted me, and him and the chain smoker dude. Have you ever seen this video?
No, I want to watch.
Watch this.
So we are outside D&E Pizza, owned by Chris Albert, Chicken Parm Charlie. We're here to do a little protesting. We are demanding the resignation of Chris Albert. from the Board of Selectmen. We got our signs and everything here. Down with Chris Albert. Resign, Chris Albert. Resign from the Board of Selectmen.
Ready? Wait for it.
Disgraceful. Loser. Loser. We're going to raise awareness here. It might even be the first day of school. I see school buses going by. A lot of traffic here. Okay. And again, I don't want to go inside because he doesn't like when I do that. So we're just going to peacefully protest. Is Chris here?
Fuck you, pussy.
What?
Fuck you.
What are they fucking?
Fuck you.
Why are you
Fuck
so?
you, Turtle Boy. You're a bully. You guys are bullies with cameras. Bully with a fucking camera. You're a liar.
Who are you? He's so angry. Why?
He tells me fucking.
Whoa, yeah, fuck you.
That's so rude. That's so rude.
Wow.
He comes back and tells me fuck my mother.
Oh, I didn't ask for it. It's okay. I know, but we're just here. I know. We're just. Is Chris here? Where's Chris?
Chris was in the back the whole time.
Tell him to come down here. I want to talk to him. So anyway, we're here peacefully protesting for justice for John O'Keefe. I didn't announce this because this is going to be a last night at the Board of Select people who are demanding back. They are peacefully protesting outside.
He came out with a screwdriver.
He came out with the screwdriver.
Yeah.
What? Alan was in the house.
Yeah, he brought a screwdriver.
Wielding a screwdriver.
Yeah,
Inside
like, dude,
the
this guy
house.
means. So apparently that fucker and some other guy came out and they followed Alan Jackson and they called the girls whores.
Oh
right?
my God.
They called them whores, and then they
whores.
And the best part was 2020 filmed the entire thing.
Oh,
and so this is all going to be like, you couldn't have come up with a better script. So these out of towners are like trying to like learn about the story, and they're like, yeah, these guys are a bunch of assholes. They're corrupt. They're covering up a murder. And then so the first fucking stop, they get accosted, intimidated, and they get followed to their car. And
they got a guy wielding a fucking screwdriver.
Yeah, by that lunatic. They got the Canton greeting, and they blocked their car from leaving the parking lot. They had to like inch out and shit. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
And like when they got, I don't know if you saw. Did you see on the courthouse steps when we first got there that they had sectioned off the entire staircase and wouldn't let us go on it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was like I've talked to a couple attorneys about that. That's a 1A violation. You you can't tell people they can't stand in the courthouse steps and as long as you're not obstructing people from going up, which we weren't doing. So I don't know, go look into that.
It really is, because like the people always misconstrue the First Amendment, because remember the Constitution was written for us, the people, and it's a guideline of what the government can't do to us. Like people confuse it all the time. So First Amendment, that's right. They can't make any kind of law that stops us from being able to exercise our free speech, and like doing it on the courthouse steps. That's as American as you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you get what's more American than that, than voicing your opinion on the courthouse steps?
I mean, did they miss the Kavanaugh hearings? When mobs of thousands of crazy women were like standing directly outside the Supreme Court, like bashing on doors. Like, did we miss crazy. that? Like that?
It was crazy. I just watched that Saturday Night Live skit where Matt Damon was playing Kavanaugh. Have you ever seen that thing?
I haven't.
It's really funny. It's pretty good.
Saturday Night Live did something funny.
Yeah, well, I think it's probably the first time in the last 20 years. Since Belushi died, it's been a long. Well, no, Eddie Murphy was fun.
I mean, Will Ferrell was great on there.
Will Ferrell was great.
There were some good ones,
was good.
Farley, yeah.
It's been pretty thin, man. Last 20 years.
So like, but just this when this whole thing happens, there, it's just like that is the perfect. You couldn't write a better script than that and kind of prove the point about what's happening here. And then we get there, right? And when Karen Reed's cars rolled up, and I'm sure somebody's got videos of this somewhere, the state police would not let them out of their vehicles. And they go, you can't get out here. And Alan Jackson apparently told them, arrest me. Like I'm going in the courthouse with my client, arrest me. And then they ticketed their drivers. Like they got dropped off by 3 drivers and they ticketed them for driving. And it's just like, wow, like obviously this was planned, blocking off the staircase.
100%.
And but it shows them that like, look at you, mother, like you think, what are you thinking? Like you think you're going to put up some crime scene crime scene tape, which I'm happy you finally fucking found, because you didn't have it the morning that John O'Keefe died.
Yeah, when it mattered.
Yeah, when it mattered. But they think they must have thought like they'll just go home now. It's like, I can stand on the sidewalk. It's not a big deal. You know, I'll stand on my tippy toes. We'll figure some shit out. You're not going to, it just makes me want to talk more. Have they not learned like throughout history, like the more you try to censor people, the more it makes them want to talk?
100%.
Like, everybody wants to hear what the censored person is saying. It makes them more interesting. Like
100%. That absolutely makes it like, I want to hear why are they trying to shut this guy down? Now I need to know what he's going to say. You know what I mean? It's 100% makes it more interesting. There's no question about that. So somebody was asking what y'all could do. I mean, you got to go in and file like a restraining, a temporary restraining order, but you're trying to somebody's going to go file something. But the problem is that you're filing in the very place that they're cordoning off. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a real uphill battle.
It is. But if I were to do it, it would just add to the story. Like, it's just another thing we could talk about. Another chapter of this story when it's all said and done.
Absolutely file it. Not only should you do it, but you should do it pro se, like on your own. Like,
totally.
Handwrite a petition out.
And we're going to document me going into the Twitter. Me going into the clerk's office, filing it in person. I'm definitely going to.
So that'd be great.
Yeah.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing.
So back to this hair thing, right? So this came out. So the hair was not human hair the whole time. The criminalist tested it first. And as we said, she didn't pass her proficiency exam, as it turns out. And she was specifically told you can't do this, and she did it anyway. So then the Commonwealth has it tested again with a real, a DNA expert, but of their choice. Karen Reed paid for an expert to observe it, didn't do the actual testing. So they can't say that it's a hired gun or something like that. And their expert came back and said it's not human hair.
Right.
And what do? They file an appeal of their own. Like, you pick the expert. And so it's just like they're expert shopping. It's just like, well, I don't like the result of that because I want this to be human hair. And so 100%. I'm just going to keep doing this until we find somebody that's going to say it's human hair. And I guess this exhaustive testing, do you know anything about this? I guess it just,
So that so they want to do the mitochondrial testing, which will exhaust, because like when you have a single hair, there's only so much DNA that's contained therein. Right. So when they continue to test it, if they do the mitochondrial, because what they did initially was the STR testing. Okay. But that's not as thorough. They're not digging as deep into the shit. So when they want to do the mitochondrial, it's gonna exhaust all the DNA, which means the defense doesn't have the opportunity to get it to their own expert, So, and that's what the state was saying. There's like, oh well, we'll select our expert, and the defense can come and observe. And so Jackson's saying, no, we got a better idea. Instead of doing that, I've got a guy that has he's the best microscopic guy in the country in Chicago. We don't have to exhaust any of the DNA. He's going to be able to tell if it's a human hair just by looking at it under this incredibly powerful microscope. You know what I'm saying? Which is like, to me, if I'm the judge, that's what you do. Like it's the path.
Yeah, Alan said that, right? About the Chicago guy. You know who he's talking about?
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm hoping it's Carl Reich. I'm hoping it's my guy. That's a guy I used on Garcia. The guy's brilliant, dude. Like, he's got like his whole lab over there.
Something tells me she'll have a problem with that because it just seems like home cooking.
It's too easy. It's the right thing to do.
Right. If you want justice and fairness, that's what you would do. Right. Now check. This has stood out to me. So our friend here, Jennifer Koefendafer, who I can't tell
she blocked me about 6 weeks before you because I've been at war with her.
Really?
For months. Oh yeah. Well, she's just
what?
Everything, because I'm a lawyer. I know the law. She's a former Fed. She doesn't know jack shit about the law.
Doesn't know anything.
Seems crazy, but like if you just stay in your lane, she's fine. If she wants to talk about whatever she did as a Fed, cool. Don't talk about shit you don't know anything about. She's never filed a pleading. She's never tried a case. She's talking about 45 jury. You don't know shit about the law, lady. Like it's so like, and I was always very civil with her. I'm like, hey, Jennifer, I just want to let you know you're completely wrong about what you just stated. Like every time she would misstate the law, I was lurking. Like, like always.
She's
just,
also,
like, lurking.
she has like a personality disorder. I'm pretty convinced.
Dude,
like
she's
just a complete inability to ever admit wrongdoing. Like that's a character. That's a character flaw.
Dude, it really is. Like, cause, and I told her, I'm like, look, if somebody calls me on something, if I get something wrong, I own it. That's it.
Right. It's okay to be wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. Right.
Totally. Thanks. Now I learned something, and you know, I own it. I don't try to pretend like the shit that I said that was wrong is right. It's crazy. Only crazy people do that.
No matter what comes out, she will say like, no, here's what it actually means, right? Like, so when the hair testing came out, it was black and white, right? Like it's not human hair. But don't worry, 3 days later, and I thought this was really interesting.
Wait,
3 days later,
I didn't see it.
This is the tweet she has, and I find yesterday a motion was filed by her team to ask for PR bond. She's currently on cash bond. Blah blah blah. There were facts alleging the motion. Okay, I'd like to address the hair. The defense is alleging their expert has concluded that the hair tested was proven not to be human hair. What kind of testing was performed? Was it mitochondrial? Was it STS? What lab was used? And where's the report? I can't believe it.
She means STR. See, she's already.
Yeah, she does it right. She does exactly.
On,
I can't believe a DNA report I haven't seen. That hair, if no root, would require mitochondrial DNA testing. And I thought that was weird. So this is on September 18th, and then on September 14th, the Commonwealth files their new motion. And what do they ask for in their new motion? They ask for, I thought I screenshot it and put it on here, mitochondrial testing. They ask for mitochondrial testing, like the exact same thing. There it is. Mitochondrial testing, the exact same thing that Confrontation for 6 days earlier. I am convinced that she is in direct communication with them. Like, I don't know if you saw this screenshot that she posted a while ago that she then deleted and cropped out, but she posted this picture of Colin in which his photo clearly looks like photoshopped. And as like, you know, he didn't do anything, but she forgot to get rid of this. And it shows that like Chris Albert probably sent this to her. And so she's basically just working. It's like boomer. Like she's like,
that looks like a phone contact, right? I mean, that looks like a phone contact. Like I have an iPhone, but I've seen droids. Like that's what their contacts look like. I think. Don't quote me.
And it just seems like, how does this woman in Florida who doesn't really know much about what's going on up here, how does she like getting all this? She gets it all. Like she gets the defense talking points before they say them. And it's like, she says shit and then like 3 days later, the Commonwealth says it. This is a pattern with her. And when I saw the mitochondrial testing.
Here's what I want to tell you, man. All right. That's a good thing. The more fucked up information and like help she's giving them, the better it is for us.
I don't think she's giving them help. I think that she is their and you know, she's former FBI, so she has some credibility and she's on Court TV and she's another one of these talking heads that they bring on and they call her an expert, but really she's just looking for attention. Like another Wendy Murphy. And
dude.
They had Confrontation on the other day on Court TV, and they introduced her as an expert on Google searches. And so it's like
I saw that. Dude, I was like literally so you know the ROLF. I was literally rolling on the floor laughing when they said that shit. I was like, so my greatest coffee. So I was probably like 4 months into my Twitter war with her. Like this is right before she blocked me. And again, I was always civil. I was never calling her an idiot. It was always just like, hey, just want to let you know you misstated the law here. Whatever. Like whatever she was screwing up, I would just say, hey, like gently, maybe you want to fix this. So one day, like, cause I do that talking head shit too. I'm on Law and Crime and like, they never tell us who like my co-guest is like, so, cause I'm coming on as a guest.
What's Law and Crime? Is that on Court TV?
No, Law and Crime's like the other one. So there's the two streamers. So like I'm on Court TV all the time too, but Law and Crime's the other one. Dan Abrams is the guy who owns that one. He used to
I know Dan Abrams. He's on News Nation now.
He started Law and Crime Network. All right. So
okay.
So I'm going on there for the show and they never tell me who's up. And like they plop us on the screen and there she is. Like, so it was like, and we had been like in the middle of some shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, and everyone, it was hilarious because it was like, you know, and I'm trying to maintain my professionalism. You know, it's like, obviously when I'm on TV, I'm not as candid as this, you know, clearly I'm faking like how I am, you know, like I did the lawyer thing for 20 years.
Right.
Like this, like here I could be myself. There,
Yes.
you know, just giving a lawyerly analysis. So, dude, it was unbelievable. So, like, we went through this entire like 40 minutes or an hour, and you know, we played nice. I think she actually agreed with something I said. So that was a banner day. That was a banner day in the Motta house, man.
You know, I can't tell if she's just a contrarian who likes to argue or if she's just a statist or, you know, like I can't ever imagine someone like her ever agreeing that the police conspire to do something. And that's the only people that they bring on court TV as experts. It's like, oh, here's this former police sergeant from Nashville. Like, oh, I wonder what position they're going to have on this whole thing.
Exactly.
It's like, spoiler alert. They think Karen Reed did it. They don't know a goddamn thing about it. I did a whole stream on it last night about court TV experts. Like they don't do any of these people do any research before going? I'd be embarrassed not to do research on the topic before going on TV.
I always come doing really, but that's why they love me. Like I always come because like they're covering a million trials, dude, you know? So it's like, I'm not trying to come on like an idiot, you know, just talking in generalities. I like to talk about like the actual case and give some kind of insight about what's going on. And they cover all kinds of shit. So like when they have her on, it's all just generalities and they're asking her questions that I'm sitting there that I know that she can't answer. Like when they're sitting there asking her about like a legal question, like when I was on with her, you know how hard it was for me to keep a straight face and just like kind of sit there like this.
Yeah.
You know,
I wish I was unable to hold it in with Wendy. I just couldn't. And I was on Surviving the Survivor for 20 minutes. Like it was a disaster.
God, that was my favorite. I don't know if you saw it, like, cause like, I think we had just been on Jay's thing together. And like, when like either that, cause that was right after that, right? Or was that right before that? It was like,
yeah, you came on right after. I think you came on right after. Yeah.
Like when I went back and I watched that thing with Wendy Murphy, like, dude, I did a screen grab. I did a screen record of it because that part where Wendy Murphy was just screaming when he had her muted.
Yes,
like all animated. Like and she
had no.
It was so funny, dude. I tweeted that because like, and I was like, that's the power of the mute button right there. It was like it was the greatest thing ever. And my wife, who's an attorney, started like launching on Wendy Murphy. She's like, because you know she's shitting all over defense attorneys, saying that we went to that we go to defense lawyer class. I'm like, okay, well that doesn't exist. There's no such beast. And the first thing they teach us is
to pick stupid jurors.
Pick stupid jurors and lie. Those are the two things. I was like, wow. Yeah. She blocked me after that too.
Have you ever seen this Mike King guy? I mean, I'm new to him. He's like this wholesome gee willikers grandpa, like from Utah.
I was just on court TV with Vinny Palatine, with Vinny last night with Mike King.
You were on Vinny. You were on last night with on Vinny Palatine.
Because I was talking about the Delphi shit, man.
Okay.
Shit. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that was in Chicago, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, they're based out of Atlanta.
Oh, they were in Atlanta. Okay, I got them confused. But yeah. So anyway, this hair thing, we'll see what comes of it. I don't even think it matters that much. Long story, how do you think this ends, in your opinion? Do you think this is going to go to trial? Do you think the feds will jump in? What do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to go to trial, and I think it's going to be not guilty. Like, to me, there's just no, like, that's what I'm saying. They're too dug in. They're not going to step back. The feds aren't going to come in. The feds don't want to touch this shit unless they have superseding indictments. Unless the feds actually do an investigation, unless you get one fed who's like, you know what? I was watching this Turtleboy guy. I saw his shit and I want to look into it. I want to actually check into if you get one fed that's interested and he can get his boss to say, yo, all right.
Oh, I know the feds read this regularly.
Totally.
They just indict. I mean, I'm not proud of this, but they just indicted a J6er because of there's some local guy down here who filmed himself throwing a fucking smoke grenade in the Capitol on January 6th.
What a genius.
Yeah, what a brilliant guy. And so I wrote about it, and then he puts a sign up on his store in Fall River, and it says Turtleboy fake news boycott. Like, it was like not even a sentence. Turtleboy fake news boycott. and it was up there, and I forgot about him. And then all of a sudden, 2.5 years later, the FBI announces that they've arrested this guy. And in their freaking charging documents, I'm the primary source. Like we first read about it on Turtleboy. We got his video.
Yeah, man, keep me out of it, dude. I don't want any part of that.
I'm like, I'm not proud of that. I'm like, I don't really agree with these prosecutions, to be perfectly honest with you. These a little more overkill, even though this guy's a douchebag.
Right.
Like, pretty fucking harsh punishments for these guys. Like 22 fucking years for that guy. Like that's fucking
didn't even get into the building. You know what
I understand some law and order is necessary and some punishment, like 22 years. That's like pretty much a life sentence.
It's a lot.
Fucking crazy.
It's a lot.
It's just crazy how they can suddenly decide that, like, yeah, we need to be hard on crime once in a while. Like, okay, just on this case, but you know,
politicking, man. It's politicking, you know. I mean, that's facts.
But everybody wants me to show you the fucking reenactment. So you got to see this. This is we'll end this with a little good laugh.
Is this the Sims thing that you were talking about?
Yes, this is the Sims thing. So he did a video here. Let's see. Is it this one? Okay.
That looks pretty awesome. That little guy.
Okay. Massachusetts. All right. So this guy, he's from around here.
So did this guy do a thing where he hung a tail light in his garage and he had?
No, that's our guy. That's us.
Okay,
that's
all
our
right.
people. We actually do real experiments like that, where we like take.
I love that video.
That's actually a good video.
It was a great video.
This video here, this guy, I don't know. He's just kind of like. He's not even worth getting into, but I'll show you his. You got to see this reenactment that he has here. Let's just watch this. This is because at least he has a theory.
She was angry and drunk.
Okay,
I doubt she had any idea.
Actually, he's got two theories.
I'll show you how the SUV brushed against one arm. In the video, it's his left, but in the actual,
let me get to the. So he's got two theories.
Wendy.
He even came up with a good 28 inches off the ground. John was 6'2". The tail light.
Okay, so here's his first theory.
In the shoulder first and do tremendous damage. But then after months, it finally occurred to me. John was bending down to pick up the cocktail glass he just dropped. Or maybe it was his phone. Here's the first way I imagined it.
Why is he behind the car?
I don't know. So he goes over, sees the cocktail glass in the middle of the road.
I mean, luckily for him, it landed upright. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's a sedan now. Okay, so they're done.
Wow.
So that's his first theory. And he doesn't stick with this one. He's like, I thought it was this, but you got to hear this explanation.
In this view, he's facing the car, bends down, and she backs into him. It might have happened this way, but the problem with this theory is that it requires Karen to hit the brakes.
Oh, that's not the only problem.
The right moment.
That's not the only problem.
Right as the SUV strikes him in the head. Otherwise, there'd be more damage to him, possibly even a broken neck. I felt like this theory was possible, close, but not quite right. Then I came to a better understanding.
So he's got a second idea.
The farm.
Okay, here's
how
it happened. Here we go. He solved it.
Got going on his roof there is fire.
Yeah, in the wicker.
I dropped my glass again.
Watch this. Right here we go. This is what actually.
Boom.
Got dinged, and that explains the arm.
Oh,
he's like, that's how the arm got scratched.
That's beautiful.
And this explains the reported high rate of speed. She's going in reverse, a little recklessly.
Why does he want the cocktail glass so badly? So I
doubt she had any idea he was there.
It was an accident.
You can see how the SUV brushed against one arm. In the video, it's his left, but in the actual event, it was
and that
his right.
caused the dog.
It would account for the bruise on the hand.
Theory.
Oh, and he had the bruises on the hand because he punched the ground during this.
Because the cocktail glass was in his hand, a piece ended up on the bumper. Stuck there in the ice, along with a human hair.
In the hair.
It also accounts for John being found 12 feet onto the lawn. The blow was a glancing one.
Yeah,
the force from the vehicle didn't so much send him back as the body's reaction.
Oh yeah, nobody heard this. Nobody saw this.
He staggered back a few steps, dropping his phone again in the process, and fell.
And then he gets
never to move again.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
It's tragic for so many people.
And she didn't know. But you know what?
I'll give him. Did they find him right there?
They found him like 12 feet from the curb.
Okay,
he's got to catapult a little more than that, you know.
So he did move again. So it couldn't have been there because he died right on the curb there. So like,
I don't fucking know. I will give I'll give him credit.
Bottom line is this shit doesn't make any sense. That's
at least he came up. At least he tried. That's more than I could say for the prosecution, who has not even attempted to put out a theory, because no matter what they put out, we're just gonna laugh at it. It's gonna be fucking.
Dude, well, the word on the street is that they hired the same dude that the little gray boy expert in the Murdoch case, the 5'2" gray boys. That's who the state's going to use for their I
hope so.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot like that, worse.
I look at cases like that, and where like even the Sean Ellis or the Stephen Avery, and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of problems with this, right? A lot of problems with the way this is handled, and Anon and all these people, and they might not have done it, but they also might have done it. They also might have done it. It's like I agree that they didn't get a fair trial, and I don't know if I could convict beyond a reasonable doubt. But like at the same time, they might have done it. Whereas I look, Darren Reed's totally different. I look at this like, no fucking way, no fucking way did she do it. Like
where there is not one injury on his body, dude, anywhere. I'm talking about his torso, his legs,
like face down. There's not a single bruise, nothing. Yeah,
like no one gets hit by a car and doesn't have at the very least, a bruise somewhere on the body, dude. It's implausible. It's like the whole thing is like,
have you ever seen
the jury's out for more than 45 minutes, which counts them going back, selecting a 4-person, reading through the sheets that the judge is going to give them, like with all the verdict forms and all that stuff. That takes like a half an hour, right? Mm-hmm. So it's going to be, all right, they'll take a straw poll. All right, who's innocent, who's guilty? Everybody's say, all right, well, clearly she's innocent. So they'll vote, but they'll sit in there so that it makes it seem like they're
reviewing the evidence, because this is going to be like a month-long trial.
Right.
So they're going to be like,
exactly. And they don't want to take heat coming out 5 minutes later, say, yeah, well, we came up with a verdict real quick. So they'll sit in there for a minute. But my prediction, they come back like remember this. We'll have this in perpetuity because it's being recorded. So I'm going to guess we'll get a verdict in 53 minutes. Not guilty.
That would be the fastest jury verdict I've ever heard.
53 minutes. Dude, it's that kind of case.
The Rittenhouse one was like 3 days, wasn't it?
This isn't fucking one of these cases where like maybe he did do it. It was a shitty, because like that's where I'm at with Avery. I don't know. I got to go through everything and I'm going to reach a conclusion. And I could still be wrong with my conclusion because I wasn't there. It's a theory. You know what I'm saying? This is not that case. Yeah. This is the case where you could just look at the evidence objectively, where you're not dug in on a side and say that there's no way that it happened the way that the state said it. Period. It's simple. No one's convincing me otherwise. I've seen all the shit that they have. No one's what?
This is Tsarnaev. This is the Tsarnaev brother. This is what your body looks like when it gets run over by your brother. By a fucking car. Like that's what it fucking looks like. There's your torso's cut up. Sorry if it's a little graphic, guys, but that's what it fucking looks like when your body
trigger warning first.
Run over. Sorry, I apologize. When your body, well, we're demonetized. It doesn't matter. Like your body gets run over by a fucking car. Like, give me a break. John's body was like flawless. Like nothing. It's just like holy shit. So
well, keep fighting the good fight, brother.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Always, dude. Anytime you want to have me hang, man, I love it. And if we get some good shit going on, like if we get a good hearing and you want me to come on, explain some of the legalities of it, I'm always happy to do that, dude.
Absolutely, brother. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Bob. Have a good one.
All right. Yo, hey, watch Defense or listen to Defense Diaries. Follow Twitter at Defense_Diaries. I got a pretty good Twitter account.
Yes, you do. So give him a follow, guys, and thanks for coming on. We'll talk soon.
Hey, power of the people. Free Karen Reed.
Yes, free Karen Reed. All right, guys. So let me just read some turtle chats here. Bob, how great is Bob? I love his perspective there. What a cool defense attorney he is. So, I met him just doing this whole thing about a month ago. And we went on the Publicly Buzzed podcast with him. And, it's cool to have a conversation with a guy who's been doing this 20 years, knows the ins and outs, and has some decent perspective on it. And it's reassuring to kind of be told, that, you're not crazy. So that's great. So give him a follow. Definitely. Let me read some turtle chats here. We have Don sends $27 and says, keep doing what you do. You have balls of steel. Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Don. I appreciate that, sir. Bob sends $25, says, Turtleboy, so consider this. A woman with a master's degree in finance and no criminal record decides to kill her boyfriend. She drives into a house full of cops who know she's coming, backs over him, and leaves him in the snow as evidence. Many easier ways to kill a boyfriend and leave little or no evidence. The prosecution is so absurd on its face. And you're forgetting another thing that she did. Like, so she did all of that. And then she left voicemails saying, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you so much. Like the most incriminating freaking voicemails you could possibly leave. Like she leaves those. Like, come on. It's just like, dude, like the no criminal record, that shit matters. Like it shows like killers don't just fucking just kill one day. Like that's very rare. It's usually part of a larger pattern, you know, like Brian, like, you know, a long history of fighting like the Alberts have. Like that usually leads up to murder, not just, you know, I fucking do money management all day and I take people's money and I put them in different buckets and then I kill a little bit on the side. Okay. Yeah, sure thing. Definitely. Next up. So thank you very much, Bob. We have Tess sends $5 and says, I've been a long supporter of my Tess Tickle. We love you, Aidan. Want to make you smile just a little or shit on me. You better not. You loser. Oh my God. That makes me so cringe. So sorry. Haha. Okay. That's everywhere. But thank you very much, Tess. I appreciate that. Marianne sends $25 and says, Bob's gone, but thoughts on Candace Owens' documentary on Stephen Avery. I mean, I've seen the commercials. It sounds like her take is that Stephen Avery's guilty. I mean, Candace Owens could be all right sometimes. Sometimes I like her, and sometimes she's just fucking too much and too fucking crazy. Like sometimes, but when she gets on a roll, I think I'm a conservative, so obviously I like her sometimes. But other times, it's just like. Not a fan. I'm not the biggest fan of Candace Owens. Let's put it that way. I don't really like any like political commentators. I think they're all just slimy. Like even right wingers. I can't stand Ben Shapiro. Can't listen to his voice. I mean, these are people whose politics I generally agree with. Charlie Kirk, want to throw him through a fucking wall. Hate him. Buck Sexton, can't stand the sound of his voice. Like I can't stand these people. The only one I like, Jerry Callahan is the only one I like. But yeah. Anyway, let's read the next one here. Suzanne sends $25 and says, many thanks to Aidan for keeping this case alive and in the headlines. Thanks to Bob Motta for his wonderful insights and analysis. Thank you very much, Suzanne. I appreciate that as always. Longtime Turtle Rider there. Sue Happy sends $10 and says, I can't take credit for this line. Once ABC sues the pants off of Chris Albert and friends, you'll be able to get a mediocre chicken parm at ABCD&E. That's so good. Where do you guys get this shit? Oh man, that's good. Oh, it's good. I know you can't take credit for it, but that made me fucking laugh, man. That made me laugh. The other one that made me laugh the other day was the Adam Lally joke, man. That was fucking awesome. Adam Lally had a hung jury last week. Did you hear about that? Yeah, all the jurors hung themselves. I have to listen to them. Well, you people are the best. Okay. Next one. Unsilent sends $26 and says, can you let poor Bob know Action Jackson's position that, quote, courts are corrupt and Jackson is coming for the DA and the crooked cops? Okay. Thank you very much, Unsilent. Appreciate that. Kelly sends $5 and says, would you consider using the picture of 34 Fairview Road as a background for a little bit? There are thousands of people watching and the haters should see how close John O'Keefe's body was from the house, and there's no way in hell nobody saw him. The pictures they see, it looks huge, especially he probably ran into the house because it was like 2 degrees out. That could be why Ryan didn't see him in the car or going in. I think I was told it's like 35 feet from where he was to the door. That's a very small distance, especially being illuminated. I mean, I am using the background. Are you saying from the perspective of the door? Because I do have an image from there. I spoke with the homeowner and I took a picture of the lawn from the door. So we do have a picture of that. Maybe we can do that as well. So thank you, Kelly, for your donation there. Any other turtle chats here? Okay. We got some cash apps here. Got to read out. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. Should we do? We're going to do some phone calls in a minute too. Okay. 7 Pounder sends $10 and says, 10% to Turtleboy, what I spent on my new boat today. 7 pounder. You own a boat? Like with a Motta? I had no idea. Good for you, sir. Because I think he lives in Peabody. I don't think they have. Do they boat in Peabody? I don't know. Jacob Nelson sends $10 and says, Marianne and Jake, keep up the good fight, doctor. Appreciate that, Jacob. Frank sends $10 and says, cunt, 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 cunt. Guys, he paid me to say it. I had to say it. So thank you very much. Sorry. Not sorry, though. Carrie Ann sends $20 and says, Aidan, are those shirts available to the consumers? We can just get the design and put them in the store and make it available to everyone if we'd like to do it that way. But this was sent to me by a turtle rider. People make shirts for me randomly all the time. Like that. I love that shirt that I wore the other day at the Star Drive-In where it said, in a world full of Jen McCabe's, be a Karen Reed. Yeah. In a world full of Jen McCabe's, be a Karen Reed. I like that one. So people are the one woman made me the shirt where it just with all the Jill Daniels quotes. I mean, there's some good ones. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. So thank you, Carrie Ann. We'll see if we can get that in the store. Sloan Sleuthy Peterson sends $5 and says, do you have a kiss for daddy? Well, I am daddy, so I can't kiss myself. So thank you very much. Denise sends $10 and says, April wants nose to nose and motorboat the nips. April wants nose to nose. What's nose to nose? Is that a sex thing? They're gonna nose you? What? And motorboat the nips. But you're Denise. So April, who's April? Who am I giving the motorboat nip? I don't get it. Okay, but thank you very much, Denise. So thank you for those donos. If anybody else would like to contribute, you're free to click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat. You can donate whatever amount of money you want, and you get to write a message when you do that. And when you do that, I'll read your message. I'll add it to class, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, like Jess just did. She sent $10 and says, John was hit in back of the head with a liquor bottle. Okay. Well, I don't think so. I think there would be more cuts on the back of his head. I don't think that would be like a lateral gash. Like I feel like that's blunt, hard object. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what it would be. So again, if anyone else wants to donate, they click at the link at the top for that. Like we just got one from Brian since 27. What's up with 27? People are giving these really exact numbers. Is there something special about? I've seen 27, 26, 23. 27 from Brian. He says, if Chris Albert stated to the grand jury that he left the waterfall and went to Brian's house, why would Colin have needed a ride home? I've often wondered that. Like, what did Chris Albert do that night? Remember Karen told him to go make me a pizza, which is just high five, Karen Reed. High five to that one. She told him to go make me a pizza. That was great. And then he said he went there. He said he went to Fairview Road, but nobody's ever put him in the house or suggested that he was there really. And he would have given Colin a ride home. Does he even have a license? Like, does Chris Albert have a license? Does anyone know? Like, he got a ride home from the waterfall that day when he accosted those women there. He killed a guy. You might lose your license for that. I don't know. Like, if Karen Reed can't drive a car, then what can Chris Albert? That make that make sense. Make that make sense. Is that why the 227? That makes sense. Or 2.7 thousand on live. Yeah, we had like 3.3 we got up to tonight. That's I don't know if that's a record, but we're getting up there. And sorry for the Zarnaev things, but it's like, shit gets real around here. So thank you for that, Dono. Do we have any more turtle chats? Another one from Jody sends $10 and says, I've been trying to get an answer to this all night. Did John know Michael Proctor? I don't believe so. There's been no connection between John O'Keefe and Michael Proctor that I know of. John knew Brian Higgins. John had met Brian Albert, I think, once or twice, but they didn't really know each other. John obviously knew Chris because they were former neighbors. And I think John knew Kevin somehow. John had been in touch with Kevin about the drug dealing. The drug, apparently, not with Colin, but there was other incidents. Apparently there's other drug dealers in Canton. Canton's gangster or something. I don't know. He had been in touch with them. Rafferty opened that whole thing up with their stupid comments at the meeting. So we'll see whatever ends up coming from that. Let's see. So let's see. Jim. Okay. So I just got, let's see. Jim Farris' wife friend is a friend of mine. Wait, actually. Wow. Okay. So yeah, let me talk about this for a second before we start making some phone calls. This douchebag here, and we're going to make some calls in a minute, but this douchebag, Jim Farris, what a loser this guy is. What an absolute fucking loser. We got to talk about him. So this is the guy who apparently was sitting outside of C.F. McCarthy's, acting like a hardo, chain smoking, acting like a tough guy. Where'd it go? So here he is. Jim Farris. So this is the guy right here who thought he could shake down Alan Jackson and scare him out of coming to Canton ever again. Big tough guy. There he is. There he is. Oh my God, what a loser. I guess he's a former chef. So basically he's like Mike Fucci. He's got college-age sons, and people are telling me that his wife is the breadwinner, that his wife like makes all the money for the family, and he's just a loser, like an absolute loser. And he sits in Chris Albert's pizza shop all day trying to like get like this guy's like being liked by this douchebag is important to Jim Farris, apparently. And so this is what he starts commenting. So he joined Canton Confidential yesterday. Canton Confidential is a Facebook group with like 4,000 people. It existed, it predated obviously the Karen Reed stuff. They talk about the Karen Reed stuff a lot, but it's a townie Facebook group. I think it's like the plan B, like the second, like, you know how every town is like this. They always have like the main Facebook group, and then some Nazi loser is in charge of the group. You know, we can relate. And by the way, not to rant about that again, but like I said, they are sharing in that group links about me from something Krusty Panties. They're sharing links from Masshole Report about me on there now, saying, oh, this guy is shady and kids in the bathtub and whatever, the same bullshit that Team Storm had brought up. So that's that group. So that's justice. I guess that's what Justice for Karen Reed and John O'Keefe looks like. And the other group now is Krusty Panties. And by the way, Krusty Panties is the biggest advocate for the Alberts and the McCabes. So that's who you're getting your information from if you're in the other group. So that's cool. If you want to be part of that, that's cool. But do your thing. Anyway, so where was I? Where I go on a rant there about Facebook groups? Oh yeah, I go, there's always like that first group, and then somebody takes charge of it, and then they're the biggest asshole in the world, and then they kick a bunch of people out, and then they go form the second group. I think that's what Canton Confidential is, like the second group. So, but it's good. It's interesting content in there, and I like the admins in there. They're good people. They're cool. They they don't ban everybody for stupid shit. And Jim Farris joins it yesterday, and he starts defending the wall hard, like pat me on the head and give me a treat there, Chris Albert. So he writes the following on there. He's like, if people were coming after your family, you would act the same way, you hypocrite. If people were coming after what does that mean? Coming after my family? Like nobody's coming after your family. Like we don't like murder, and yeah, like your family killed someone. So yeah, I guess we kind of are coming after your family, but only because they killed someone. I feel like that's a pretty good reason to come after them. And again, if somebody came after my family, I would just not go out in public. I would do what Brian Albert and Nicole Albert do and dive behind people every time someone takes a picture. Yeah, that's what I would do. I wouldn't do what Chris Albert's doing. And then somebody says, if people were coming at my family, I would be a junkyard dog. Well, you were. And this is before I outed him as the other guy who like tried to, who called a bunch of girls whores and, tried to get big with Alan Jackson. Maybe you're not as passionate about your family. Besides, I haven't seen anything in his duties as selectman that would be grounds for his dismissal. Oh, okay. So as long as he's not like threatening people during the Board of Selectmen meetings, it's all good. It's all good. Okay. Honestly, if somebody was accusing my family of murder without being charged, I would fight back 100 times harder than he is. Ooh, calling you out, Chris. And he's not representing Canton. He is representing loyalty to his family. Anybody else would do the same if they're being honest with themselves. This is what loyalty to the family looks like.
Really? Yeah. Really? Really? Hand jobs?
Hand jobs.
Okay. I don't know anything about you and your family? I don't? Really? I have no clue. I'm not taking pictures of you.
Why did you just come over when I'm leaving?
Because I'm leaving too.
So why would you come this way?
Because we're smoking a cigarette.
You don't know anything about me.
I don't know anything. Why are you acting like this? If you have nothing to hide, why are you acting like this?
Because you were fucking being all weird to me.
I was sitting across the bar. You're across from me. I was looking. Where else do you want me to look?
This never gets old.
You scared at me.
I didn't stare. You were sitting right across the bar. You were sitting right across the bar from me.
I saw what you did.
Why is he talking?
What did I do?
Why isn't he leaving?
What did I do? I didn't take pictures of you. How did I take a picture of you? I was on the phone.
Yeah, this guy's saying juvenile.
I don't want to have a conversation with you.
Why are you calling me?
I'm going to my car.
Where's your car?
Right there. The black pickup truck. Yep.
The black pickup truck?
Yeah, I'm going home with you.
I'm going home with you.
I want to see what Canton's all about. Huh? I want to see what Canton's all about.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you that fucking sad?
That's sad? No, you're framing an innocent woman.
Am I really? Because Karen Reed fucking ran John over.
Oh, yeah?
You have no fucking
okay.
clue.
Okay.
Yeah, no
yep. That's why Colin has bruises all over his body.
You have zero clue.
Okay.
Zero clue.
And the whole state believes that you're guilty.
You're
yep.
And I know you're guilty.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Yeah, you are. Anyway, I love you for that. You're great. Okay. Anyway, so he starts posting, no intelligent person will, this was great. No intelligent person will cooperate with the police investigation. What? Okay. I guess not. Unless you have an attorney. Yeah, innocent people would. I mean, Karen Reed did, and she got fucked, so I guess he has a point there. This whole, if he's not guilty, he has nothing to hide, went out of fashion in the 30s. No, it really didn't, actually. That's still a principle that applies today, believe it or not. Do you know why there is no video from Saturday night? Okay, so here's the thing. There is video, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I've seen the video. I can't show it because I don't have permission to. But I have sources at ABC, okay? Keep in mind who I schmoozed with in court. I've seen it. Okay, it happened exactly. It actually was worse than it sounds. Like he goes into the street and starts flailing his arms around like this big galug. He blocks them from leaving the fucking parking lot across the street. I think there's like a salon there. So it happens exactly. And no, I don't know. Again, I'm not the district attorney's office. I'm not suing ABC and demanding that they give me footage. That's what Adam Lally does. I can't do that. So that's it. I do not have, but it fucking happened. I swear to God, I've seen shit. You guys, I've seen a lot of shit. Okay. And everything comes out. Everything comes out eventually. I've seen a lot of shit, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, sauces. So it says, he does not represent Canton at all times. He represents Canton during his duties as selectman. Oh, okay. So you can do whatever you want outside of it. Imagine that. Bill Clinton should have said that. But like, oh, when I was getting a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky, it wasn't in my duties as a president. I was just horny as fuck. And she wanted to suck my dick. So we just did it right in the Oval Office. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. The tax liens, somebody says, all public knowledge before an election. So it's your fault that you voted for a guy. And by the way, his record, look at all this shit he owns. So he's a loser. And he posted in the Canton group today. Let me read. He makes a post after I wrote after I wrote the story about him, he makes this post. You guys got to see this post. Have you heard about this post yet? He responded. Let me see if I got it here. Thought I had it. Now here it is. Let me read it to you. Jim Farris posts this. This will be my last post. He just got to the group yesterday. He joined the group yesterday. This will be my last post. I'm sure many are rejoicing. No, not really, but I don't have a dog in the fight. Well, Brian Albert does. Well, he had a dog in the fight, and then the dog's gone. I have never said I believed Karen did it. They always say that. They're like, I'm not, because they know Karen Reed didn't do this, except for like Chris and Jill Daniels, who have both said, fucking Karen Reed did it. Fucking Karen did it. They're all like, they don't even care if Karen gets acquitted or not. Like, that means nothing to them because they're not John O'Keefe's family. They killed John O'Keefe. They don't care about John O'Keefe. So if nobody ever gets in trouble, that's fine with them. They don't care if Karen Reed, as long as they don't go after them. That's the only thing that they do care about. So it says here, the only reason for my posts were to allow an opposing viewpoint to come to light. I am not involved, nor ever been involved in this case. I find it very disappointing that Turtleboy would devote a whole blog to disparage me. Yeah, dude, you're just embarrassed you got caught. Like, you thought I wouldn't know who you were. I find out everything, you fucking asshole. Try to embarrass me. Oh, try to. Not very hard. Can anyone get me his number? Send it to me if they got it. And say very hurtful things about me. He's hurt. It was hurtful. What I said about it was very hurtful. All because our viewpoints don't align. No, it's not that our viewpoints don't align. It's that your behavior is abhorrent and that you call like 2020 producers whores and you tell people to get out of your town because it's your fucking town, apparently. I didn't know that. It's actually my town. I'm the mayor of Canton. I'm the daddy now. I don't know if you heard that, but I respect the right of freedom of the press. Oh, okay. Many have struggled and even died to protect the freedoms he takes for granted. I had nothing to do with the incidents that happened Saturday night. I stood by my car and observed. What I observed and what Turtleboy reported do not align. That's what happens when you are trying to fan the flames. I hope everybody takes a second and realizes how hurtful their comments are and the effect it will have on our community. Because, you know, Jim Farris is the real victim in all this. Not Karen Reed, not John O'Keefe, but this Jim dude. He is the real victim. And by the way, you want to see Denise and Bob Galvin's house? They're going to get audited real soon. You can, Denise and Bob, we've kept you out of this. You haven't been characters. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This pretty face is expect a knock on the door soon. I have some questions. I have some questions for you. Starting with these ridiculous signs. They've put up new signs in Canton. Have you guys seen these signs? So in response to the Karen Reed signs, they have put up these. Check these out. And this is pictured. Somebody sent this to me today. From outside their house. Let me pull this up. You come up. So this is Denise's house. And if you zoom in here, okay, they have these signs hanging all over the place. Now, hold on. Let me see here. I'll show you what the sign says. Hold on. Yeah, they have signs. You got to see these signs. They love their signs and their buttons. Let's come up. Remember, it's about justice for John. Like this is what they're putting up in their yards now. Remember, it's like, keep in mind, this woman whose house this is at, her sister killed John O'Keefe. Her sister literally killed John O'Keefe. Literally. And let me be very clear. If Jen McCabe did not participate in killing John O'Keefe by Googling how long to die in cold at 2:27, which is the same thing as killing him, you're planning to kill him. You're just as guilty. If that is untrue, what I'm saying right now is I am not saying this is a matter of opinion. I'm saying this is a matter of fact that Jen McCabe participated in killing and planning to kill and cover up the murder of John O'Keefe. I am saying that is not my opinion. That is a fact. So I can't even argue in court. If you were to sue me, I would no longer be able to argue that this is opinion. So if Jen McCabe did not do that, if she did not actually Google that at 2:27 or anything like that, then what I just said right there is open and shut slander, open and shut defamation. She could sue me tomorrow if she's innocent and win my house, fucking everything. It would be all hers. The blog would no longer exist. It would, and like Kevin Reddington would sue me into existence, even though we're bros, right? I would be fucking destroyed. And I'm saying it right now, Jen McCabe participated in killing John O'Keefe. So sue me. Why don't you sue me? If you didn't do it, like you said, why don't you just sue me? Because you did it. Because she did it. That's why. Because she did it. That's why all these people did it. Like they're so fucking obvious about it. You did it. Anyway, the fact that these signs, the fucking balls of these people, I hate them. Oh, dude, I just get so fucking mad at these people. Oh my God, Bob fucking Galvin. You want to be a big fucking tough guy? Huh? You look like what stage are you? You look like you're on death's doorstep. You pathetic, disgusting old man. Bob Galvin. You're a big fucking tough guy. My fucking town. No, it's not your fucking town. It's my town. It's daddy's town. You fucking people make me sick. You make me sick. You motherfuckers killed that guy. And then you framed a completely innocent woman dealing with trauma. Oh, I hate you so much. And then you have the fucking balls to show up because Alan Jackson's down there like a big tough guy, knowing that Alan Jackson is too dignified, quite frankly, to really let you know what a worthless pile of shit you are. But when daddy comes to town and he protests outside your fucking brother-in-law's mediocre chicken place, calling your fucking nephew a murderer in no unspoken terms, saying he's inside the house, help participate in it. Where the fuck are you then? Do you show up then? No, you don't. Because you're a fucking coward. I dare you to show up. And since you want to be a big tough guy to these women, and you want to be a big tough guy to Liza Little, and you want to be a big tough guy to Karen Reed, and a big tough guy to Alan Jackson, knowing that they're not in a position to be like I am, we'll see how tough you are. Because daddy's coming to town. And we're bringing receipts. And we're going live. You were better off staying out of this. This sign, that got me. This sign fucking disgusts me. You worthless pieces of shit killed John O'Keefe, and you have the balls to put these fucking signs in your yard. You have the balls. Why? Because we're fighting for an innocent woman's life? Because we're fighting for justice for John O'Keefe? But you're like, no. We called it first. We called justice for John first. You killed John O'Keefe, you worthless piles of shit, and I'm going to find you, motherfucker. I'm going to find you. Just know that. You want to fucking dance? We can fucking dance. I didn't know who you were before this. You were like John. I thought you were Jen's lesbian sister or some shit. I didn't know shit about you. Now we know all about your son, Tommy. And Tommy's the lacrosse coach, I believe, at Canton High School, right? Yeah. Oh, we can talk about Tommy too. We can pay Tommy a visit too. We're going to go after, you're going to get the whole fucking deal now. All of it. Allie McCabe, she can get it too. They can all get it. We've left the second generation out of this for a bit. That's over. except for Brian Albert Jr. because he looked functionally retarded. But besides him, the rest of them, they're all going to get it. They're all going to get it. And by the way, that includes 75 Elm Street in Easton. Tristan, we got some questions for you, my dude. Caitlin Albert, we got some questions for you. Show up at another Bridgewater State football game. I dare you. Daddy's coming to town. These people make me sick. Okay, let's make some calls. I think we got some numbers here. Hold on. Did we get this? Okay. Call this number. You know Jim's watching. You know he's watching.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Is Jim there, please?
Oh, he's right.
Yeah, we're live to tape. This is Turtleboy. I want to speak to him about the incident at D&E Pizza.
Okay, he's sleeping.
Okay. Oh, is he home? Oh, he's sleeping. Okay, I'll come visit him another time. Thank you very much. Bye. See, they do pick up their phones when they're sleeping in Canton, just like Nicole Albert did. 9 seconds? I don't know how long that was. So she's sleeping. Let's see what else we got. That was Jim Farris's house. What else do we have here? It is 11 p.m., but I guess it's hard to relate. Okay, we got Michael Morrissey numbers here. Ooh, should we call these? Ooh, I got a cell. I got Michael Morrissey's cell. We're calling it right now. If this is his cell phone, I'm giving it out to everyone. Just understand that. Everyone's getting this number. This piece of shit. Because he's a, public figure. It's in the public interest. There we go. What's this? We got another number here? Oh, yes. I can call on that one next, too. Okay, we have some numbers to call. Canton Roulette. I should have done this earlier. Does anyone have the Galvin's phone numbers? Can anyone get me the Galvin's phone numbers?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 617-224-7954 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Michael Morrissey. Daddy's here. This is Dr. Turtleboy calling. Just giving you a buzz. I'm reaching out to you because a few weeks ago you made this video in which you told me to stop protesting you. And I'm calling to let you know that I've thought it over a lot. I have thought it over a lot about and I've weighed the pros and the cons. And I've decided I'm just going to keep protesting instead. We're just going to keep getting louder. And you told me to leave Jen McCabe alone and to stop asking her questions and to stop and be nice to Colin Albert and Brian Albert. But, I thought it over some more. And then I'm like, you know what? Those guys killed a cop. And I guess you're okay with killing cops. You're obviously, a fat, useless piece of shit. So that doesn't surprise me. But I object. I object to the killing of police officers. I don't agree with it, and I don't think it's okay to protect those who do. So I've taken your, advice into consideration about leaving them alone, and I've elected not to. Instead, I'm actually going to do the opposite. I'm going to keep asking them questions. I'm going to show up to their kids' football games. I'm going to be everywhere that they go, and I'm going to do the same with you. So I know you don't like it when people come to your house. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's not a threat. I'm an award-winning journalist. I'm just there to ask some questions about whether or not you've heard of this thing called the First Amendment. Do you often help Like, how corrupt are you? What does Brian Albert have on you exactly? Like, did he catch you like killing a prostitute? Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me about why you would want to protect this cocksucker so much and put your own career on the line. And I don't know if you know this, and maybe I shouldn't tell you, but you're the target of an FBI investigation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Are you worried that, you know, after your long, prestigious career of sucking off the taxpayers' titties your entire life, that you're not going to be able to collect your pension because you're going to die in federal prison? So just want to know what you think of that. So give me a call back when you get this. Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye. We'll see if he calls back. Okay, we got his home phone. Let's try his home phone. That might make a little more noise. That's going to be a fun voicemail.
Hello?
Live to tape. Hi, is this Mrs. Morrissey?
Yeah.
Yes, hi, this is Turtleboy calling. Is Mike home?
No, he's not home right now.
Oh, where is he?
Out.
Oh, is he drinking? It's 11 o'clock on a Tuesday.
It's really none of your business. Good night.
When can I see him? She said it's none of my business. So he talked to Mrs. Morrissey. So he says it's none of my business. 617-328-0900. I don't know. He says it's none of my business. Where what a cunt, huh? Wow. I mean, I just have some questions. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, he's out? None of my is he really out? Is he really out? Is he drinking? Is he hitting the sauce again? Is he with the hookers? I don't know what he's doing. That's really his phone number. That's his home phone number. So we got that. We called the cell. He didn't answer that. Interesting. And let's call his cell back. He's got to be out. He's got to be out, right? 617-224-7954. Okay, here we go. I hope he tries to get an order on me. That would be awesome. Oh, I'd love that. I get to cross-examine him.
Hello?
Yes, live to tape. Is this Mr. Morrissey?
It's James Morrissey.
Oh, are we looking for Mike Morrissey?
This is not Mike Morrissey.
Oh, are you his son?
No.
Oh, are you related to him?
He is my uncle.
Oh, do you know how I could reach him?
I don't.
Don't. Okay, because somebody gave me this number. So this is Turtleboy from Uncle Turtleboy Daddy from Turtleboy Daily News. Are you familiar with the blog?
I'm familiar with who you are, and this is his son, yes.
Oh, you're his son?
Yeah.
What's up with your dad? Why is he such a scumbag?
That's not very nice.
Well, what he's doing to Karen Reed is not very nice. He's trying to send an innocent woman to prison. Do you think that's nice?
I can't answer any questions. I don't know.
Have you been following the case?
I try to stay out of that stuff.
How old are you? Are you like in your 30s?
I am.
Okay. And is your dad, do you live with your dad? Is he home right now?
I don't live with my dad, no.
Okay. Do you have your dad's phone number? I could just call. Sorry.
I can't give you my dad's number.
I mean, I called the 617-328-0900 number, but that's a landline, right?
That is the house number, yes.
So what do you think about, do you think Karen Reed's innocent?
I don't, but that's not one or the other.
What makes you think she's guilty?
I just don't. Like, why does it matter?
Because she would spend the rest of her life in prison with that kind of attitude?
How did you get my number?
I don't know. Somebody sent it to me. They said this is Mike Morrissey's number, so I called it.
Okay.
But like,
you were just gonna keep calling me until I answered it?
yeah, because I thought it was Mike. And I just had a question.
Did you think he would answer it? I'm just confused.
Yeah, I mean, you picked up, right?
I did. You called me 2 times. It could be work.
Yeah.
It could be anything. Somebody could be dying. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you just miss a call, so you call again. But like, did you see your dad's press conference where he was like, "You guys need to stop"? Did you see that thing?
I did.
What did you think of that?
opinion of it.
Yeah.
I don't really have one.
Do you agree with him that we should stop exercising our First Amendment rights?
I don't feel like I got that out of what he said, but okay.
But he told us we can't protest.
I don't think that's exactly what he said.
Oh, it is.
Right?
What did he say then?
I'm not like watching it right now, and I don't really remember it at the moment.
Well, he said that we have to stop asking Jen McCabe questions and Colin Albert questions. Do you know who Colin Albert is?
I have no idea who any of these people are.
So you're not like you.
I really don't. I'm not involved in politics.
You don't do politics or nothing?
Not really.
What do you don't work for your dad, or what do you do for work?
I'm an engineer. I worked at a power plant in Vermont for a while, and
How'd they get?
I have no idea what's going on.
Are you worried that your dad might go to federal prison? Serious question.
I'm not.
Because you know he's under FBI investigation, right?
That's great.
It's not though. Is your dad at the
Feel
jail?
like I'm talking to you, and I have no idea if you're recording this.
No, I already said we're live. I said we're live to tape. We're live right now. I told you that at the beginning.
So great. Yeah, he's not. I have nothing. I got nothing. I didn't know I answered this.
Well, you're just curious. You're like, who's this guy calling? And you know, you got Turtleboy. I mean, you don't sound that bad.
He's not that bad.
He is though. What he's doing. I mean, I understand it's your dad, so it's a tough position to be in. But Karen Reed also is a dad, you know, and as a father, I mean, I don't know if you have kids. I have kids. If this happened to my kid was framed for murder by a bunch of scumbags, and then the district attorney went along with it. I'd be like, that's not a good thing. He's got to. Can you talk to your dad? Because he knows that she didn't do it, and he's pushing forward anyway.
I just don't see that.
Well, have you seen the injuries to John O'Keefe?
I have seen what's on the news.
Have you seen the autopsy photos? Because that's not on the news.
I have not.
Yeah, so basically he has no injuries below the face, like none. He's got a gash in the back of his head. His eyes are swollen shut, and he's got dog bites on his arm. And they're saying that he got those injuries from being backed into by a Lexus that has no dents or scratches in it. Nothing.
All right. So if he got in a fight when he has something on his face,
Yeah, exactly.
isn't that what you're saying?
No, his face, he had fucking black eyes swollen shut.
Okay.
So you agree that he got in a fight then?
No.
So do you think he got backed into it by a Lexus?
I don't know. I get hit by something.
But how do you get the dog scratches and bites on the arm?
I don't know if he has a dog. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's a dog. Brian Albert does have a dog, so we agree. Brian's.
idea.
But that's crazy, right? Like, don't you think that? I mean, don't you think that's fucking nuts? Are you proud of your dad?
I am. Yes.
But like, would you be proud if he knowingly tried to send an innocent woman to prison in order to help cover up the murder of a Boston police officer? Would you be proud if he did that?
No, obviously, but I don't believe that's the case. So.
Oh, I mean, I'm really sorry because you seem like an okay guy. That is, in fact, what he's doing, and that's why he's the target of an FBI investigation. It's actually really serious. He's in trouble.
Okay.
He hasn't like prepped you for that. Like, I might go to jail.
Nope.
Oh wow, I'm sorry. Like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your dad's in a little bit of trouble, and rightfully so, because he's got a chance to stop this. He can stop this whenever he wants. So, again, I don't want to influence anything here, but if that was my dad, I'd be like, Dad, can you stop doing things that send you to prison? Just saying.
Okay.
So, all right, man. Well, thank you, and tell your dad to call me back. He's got my number now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye. Well, that was interesting. Okay. Didn't expect that to happen tonight. I think it's his son. Jim Morrissey. Is that what he said? Jim Morrissey. Okay. It sounded like, I don't know what was going on there. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. So we're getting more numbers here. What's this? Okay, I got the Galvin's number. I'm going to call them. Call Denise first. And then we're going to call Tommy. We're going to call them all. Canton Roulette, baby. Here we go. Yes, he did. He was making a drink there. That's right.
You have reached 78157505553.
Hi, Denise. This is award-winning journalist Aidan Kearney from Turtleboy Daily News here. You can call me doctor, but you can't call me daddy because even though you're a naughty girl, you can't call me that. So I am calling to talk to you for a comment, looking for comment for a story I'm doing about an incident you were involved in which you told a guest in your town to go back where he came from, I believe, because you said it's your town, the town of Canton. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's actually my town now. I'm the mayor of Canton. It used to be your town until Daddy came in, and now it's mine now. So I just want to see what made you think that you could decide that you would go downtown and just tell some random attorney minding his own business inside Sea of McCarthy's that he has to leave your town, and then you threaten him, and then you guys call a bunch of 20-something-year-old girls whores. Do you do that often? And how did your sister Jen become so evil? Like, I saw you have a sign in your yard that says, remember, it's about justice for John. I do remember that, actually. And I do remember your sister Googling how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. And I'm wondering why she did that. I think we all know why she did that, but like, why is she so evil at the same time? Like, are all your brothers and sisters evil like this? Or is she just kind of like the evil younger sister? Or what's going on there? And what's up with your husband? Where did you get this idea that he's a tough guy? He looks sickly. He's about 5'8", 170, like 150. And like, where did he get the idea that he's some sort of enforcer? So give me a call back when you get this. We'll talk soon. Bye. All right, we'll see if she calls back. Let's call up, who do we got next? We got Bob Galvin next. See what he's up to. Bobby O. Oh, call failed. Did he block me? He blocked me? This motherfucker blocked me? He blocked me? It just doesn't work. Oh, let's call their son. Let's call their stupid son. Make it a family affair. Tommy Galvin. He's got work tomorrow at Canton High School. Maybe he's up late. Maybe he's hanging out, getting some drinks with Mikey Morrissey. Oh, no. He's got the same phone number as Mommy. There must be a landline. Okay. Yeah, that gets static when the phone gets near it. It happens. It is one of those things. I got another number, though. Let me try this number. This is somebody that will get the video pulled if I say the numbers out loud. Is that right? Oh, okay. That's not good. Oh, I got Yuri's number. Should we call Yuri's? Let's call Yuri's number. See what Yuri's up to. And then we'll call this other one I got.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 703-887-6207 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, this message is for Detective Sergeant Bukaki. This is award-winning journalist Aidan Kearney calling, trying to finish our conversation that got cut short the other day. I understand there was a mob behind me, so it was a little bit confusing. So I figured we could have some one-on-one time to talk about your interview with Lucky Loughran, and particularly why you were so focused on yours truly, award-winning journalist Turtleboy Aidan Kearney, if you will. So I want to know why you were more concerned with figuring out if I recorded a phone conversation, which is ridiculous and you have no evidence of, certainly. I just have a photographic memory. Don't be mad. But why were you more worried about that than you were about the fact that Lucky told you a Ford Edge was parked in front of a place where a dead body of a cop was found a couple hours later? Have you done anything to find out who was driving that Ford Edge? Because, by the way, I don't know if you heard this, Colin Albert drives a Ford Edge. So does Kevin Albert. And so does Tristan Morris. They all drive Ford Edges. And so does Brian. But we think we've ruled Brian's out. So it's one of the other ones. So if you could figure that out, that'd be great. We can solve this murder together. I know you're really busy with the wiretapping angle. I know that's really important. But you're not going to find anything there because I don't know anything about any tape. I just have a photographic memory. So give me a call back when you get this, and we will talk soon. Bye. See if he calls back. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other calls? And he wanted my number, right? He wanted my number, so now he's got it. There we go. There's the 401 number. Now I got a couple phones, Bukaki. I got a 401 too. So that's what I outsmarted you people. Remember, one party consent state in Rhode Island. The benefit of Rhode Island. I love Tiverton. I love Woonsocket. I love those border towns. Love going to Wright's Chicken Farm. Love Burrillville. Huge fan. North Smithfield. Great time. Okay. All right. What else do we have? I think we have another number here. I was going to call. Where'd it go? Oh yeah. Let's try this one. I had Colin's number. I've called him before. He doesn't answer. I love Cumberland, another border town. Pretty much every town in Rhode Island's a border town, isn't it? Pawtucket. Hello? Did it stop ringing? Oh, I know one place that's a bit crusty. Someone's underpants. It's not good. Okay. I don't know if it's stopped working there. She blocked me. She blocked me already. I said I was Laura Sullivan. She's that cow that cries in court. So Laura Sullivan is one of crazy story about this. John's partner, who I believe was also on the show with Brian Albert, nice guy, everybody said, committed suicide. Really tragic story not too long ago. But he impregnated 3 women, I guess, in a period of like a year. Crazy story. Like somebody told me this whole thing, and one of them was Laura Sullivan, who, oh God rest his soul. That looks like a lot of work. That doesn't look fun at all. She's the one that sits in court with the fake tears and Jen rubs her shoulders. She was in. These people are all attention-starved drama queens that are out there. Are they not? Like, that's what these people are. Like, none of you people give a shit. Stop it. Stop it. None of you people actually care about John O'Keefe. You just like to be seen on TV. Like John's stupid fucking cousin there who like got the tattoo. Oh my God, want to smack her. What the fuck's wrong with her? Oh. But anyway, I think that's about it for phone calls. We got Morrissey's son and Morrissey's wife. Didn't get Morrissey. We'll get him soon. Okay. But anyway, why don't we take any questions you guys have? Let me check the donos. Let me check the turtle chat, see if we missed any turtle chats. We did. All right, we got $5 here from Kel. Says Colin was in the house. Yes, he was. If he wasn't, it wouldn't bother them when people say he was there. Imagine having to sit in the visitor section at your own son's game trying to hide. Innocent people do not hide. How priceless was that photo, by the way, man? That is one of the greatest, most satisfying photos I've ever seen. In case you haven't seen this blog was from earlier today. So, and I guess the kids that are in this picture, their parents, like they asked me to like, can you take them down? I'm like, no, I can't do that. No. They're like, well, what about they're going to get threats? I'm like, for what? They didn't even do this on purpose. Like everybody's got to chill out with the whole, my life is in danger thing. stop it. Karen Reed, her life actually is in danger. I'm fucking sick and tired of people hearing about like, I'm afraid to come forward because my life is going to be in danger if I don't. Bitch, Karen Reed's life is in danger right now. Fuck your fears. Get over it. Get the fuck over it. Don't tell me about, I'm in fear, I'm in threat. Shut the fuck up. You're fine. You're fine. Your kids are fine. Everything's fine. Don't ask me to take shit down. They're like, can you take the faces out? No, I could, I guess. Don't want to, because don't feel like it. There's no need to, because these kids didn't do anything wrong. First of all, they're grown adults. They took a picture, they shared it. It got to me somehow, so they weren't that shy about it. So they took this picture, and this picture was not actually, like, they weren't trying to get Brian Albert. They were just taking a picture at the game. And Brian Albert and them realized that, oh, somebody's taking a picture. We can't be in any pictures. And look at Nicole, like in the back there. Like Nicole jumps, hides behind her daughter. Brian hides behind his old man. Like they all hide. And then except for Bernie. Bernie doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Bernie's like, just like, what? Who got killed? What? What's going on now? So Bernie's all like, And so like it just, when I see them like this, like this is probably not the first time. Like these kids weren't taking pictures of them on purpose. Just whenever they see someone with the camera out, they instinctively jump and hide. I can't tell you how much satisfaction I take in that. This is how they live their life now. They have to run and hide like rats. And they will do this as long as they remain free. This ends when they go to prison. That's it. Bernie is the patriarch of, Bernie, you could probably do a case study on him. He produced Brian and Chris Albert and Fredo, Tim Albert, and Kevin Albert, and the two other retarded Alberts who look like, the short bus kids. Like, what did Bernie Albert do wrong? Everything, apparently. Everything. Imagine your son was Chris Albert. That's generational. Like, how did Colin end up like this? Look at his dad, and then look at his grandpa. Oh, did we get another number here? I got one more to call. One more to call. Let's try this one. I don't think I've ever called this one before.
Hello. We can help you find another business in the area.
Nope.
The number you called is not in service.
Wrong number.
I'll look for you now.
I thought it was Caitlin Albert. Someone get me Caitlin Albert's number. We'll find it. If it's the 575 number, it's wrong. So, all right. Anyone have any? Yeah, he is kind of like Joe Biden, right? Kind of similar, except without the money and shit, All right. Any overwhelming static? I'm moving the phone. It just, when the phone gets to here, it causes the static. Is the static on, hopefully? All right. Let me read a couple more Turtle chats. Unsilent sends $12 and says, Turtle, please check your phone. It's clearly tapped. Dial *6. First of all, I don't care if it's tapped. I have nothing to hide. A screen will pop up. Screenshot it. It'll show live the tape, the number that is recording on. Okay, I'm not doing that, but okay. Thank you for the advice anyway on Silent. I appreciate that. Definitely, I'm not. If you think I'm the kind of guy that like worries about his phone being tapped or hides or has anything to hide, like, nope. I'm the other guy. Actually, I'm the guy who doesn't give a shit. I don't care if you have my number. What are you gonna do about it? Like, that's what I want to know. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Because that's the thing. Like, people just got to get over their fears. Like, I'm not special. I'm not Teflon. I'm not indestructible. But I'm not afraid of anyone. I'm not afraid of any of these fuckers. Like, why were you, dude? They make mediocre chicken parm in Canton. Don't forget that. This is not Tony Soprano. Like, you'll be fine. Anyway, next one up. EG sends $20 and says, great stuff, Aidan, with a shamrock. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Will sends $5 and says, call Jen McCabe or an Albert, please. I've already done those. They've already all blocked me. She's fearing. I called Jen a long time ago. She was fearing, if I recall. So, also got some cash. Do we have any cash apps? Let's see. Alex sends $10 and says, gun to your head. Who's a bigger cuck, Carl or Ken? I don't really know Ken, so I'm going to have to go Carl on that one. Carl is tough to be a bigger cuck than Carl, to be perfectly honest with you. Oh, we got another number for Bob Galvin. So Jay Norris sent $10. And let's see if this number works out for Bob Galvin. Let's see. Again, anyone else wants to donate, the link for the Turtle Chat is on the top, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. Hopefully not a lot of static. I don't have Tristan's number. I can't call him alternate. We'll save some from another night. What?
Your call is 33923370882 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Bobby O, it's T-Bone, Turtle Boy, Daddy Turtle. What's going on? Just giving you a call. I heard you're like the 4th toughest guy in Canton now because you like to go down to bars and, you know, shake down attorneys and tell them to get out of your town and call young women whores and say sexually derogatory things to them. And just you're the enforcer of Canton. That's what I heard. When Chris Albert needs backup, he needs muscle, he calls Bobby Galvin up. Maybe is your brother the state rep? Is he that guy? Is that why you feel so emboldened? Anyway, I heard you're a tough guy, so I wanted to come to Canton and have a talk with you because I plan to go on to see if McCarthy's and do a lot more than Alan Jackson did. You know, I'm going to go inside your brother-in-law's pizza shop and we're gonna protest. We're gonna make a lot of noise. I missed you at the last one, so give me a call back when you get this. You got my number, and we'll talk soon. I would like to ask you about that sign you have in your yard to remember John O'Keefe because your sister-in-law Jen, she done killed that motherfucker. So if you could give me a call back when you get this, we'll chat. Talk soon, Bobby O. Bye. Okay, we'll see if he calls back. All right, next up. Next on the Cash App, we had we got one from what's this, Mary? Oh, Marianne sends $100. Ooh, thank you, Marianne. And she says, in honor of our wedding, from Jake and Marianne. God bless you people. I hope it works out for you, Marianne. You know, I don't want to be pessimistic, obviously, you know, my situation, right? But I wish you nothing but the best. You seem like a great person, Marianne. I'm sure Jake's wonderful too. So best of luck to you fine people. Congratulations on your wedding. Thank you. Let's see. Jess sends $10 and says, John was hit in back of the head with a liquor bottle. I think I read that one already. Thank you. Tyrone sends 227 and no comment. Message received, sir. Message received. How long to die in cold? Do we have any other turtle chats over here? Okay. Anybody have any other comments or anything they want to say? Any questions? All right. No, Tristan's last name is Morris. Who drove John to McCarthy's that night? I think he came with his pal, Camerano. Was he there with? Is that the guy's name? Who you see him in the video there? That's a good question. But again, you know, he was drunker than Karen, which is part of the reason why she was upset with him that night. You need to watch the first. I've already watched episode 1 of Trial 4. Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point. I did watch the first 10 minutes of Trial 4. And yeah, when John Mulligan was killed, it was just like, fucking, we're going to find the motherfuckers that did this. And it is kind of similar because they just needed a fall guy. Now, I don't know if Sean Ellis did it or not. He might have done it. Him and Terry Patterson, they might have done it. But those are dirty cops. Those are dirty fucking cops. And John Mulligan was one of them. John Mulligan was a dirty cop. So there was certainly plenty of reasonable doubt there. But with Karen Reed, it's beyond that. Like I'm watching trial 4 and I'm like, holy shit, if this guy got off, and I don't think he should be in jail, that guy. I don't think he did it. But if that guy got off, then I mean, how the fuck is Karen Reed not free? Like, that's just insane. The FBI does care. I don't know what you're talking about. Is there still still from the tow truck that shows her taillight? No, it's not. It's not. There's no broken taillight on there. Sean Ellis absolutely didn't do it. Again, I haven't watched the whole thing. So who did? Do you guys know who did kill Mulligan? I don't know. Soon. And it might be one of those where I don't give a heads up just because I might do a one-man protest again. My protests are mostly going to take place in front of D&E Pizza now. I love protesting there. It's great. I'll set up shop. Bring a beach chair next time. I know. Dude, how wild is that? Morrissey's out. Oh, you know that guy gets hookers. You know he gets hookers. Like, that's what I'm saying. Something happened with a hooker. I'm telling you right now. There's no way that Michael Morrissey doesn't have a world of shit on him. And if there's somebody that knows all the shit on somebody, it's somebody like Brian Albert. Probably knows all the shit on everyone. Yeah, I mean, we could protest the DA's office, but it's in a big building. It's like an office building. You'd have to go in. I guess we could just line the halls. We could do that. Actually, I might do that. Now that I think about it, I think I'm going to do that. All right. So, I guess that's it, guys. Let me check the turtle chats real quick. Make sure I don't miss them. All right, we're good. Well, thank you guys all for joining me tonight. Thanks, Bob Motta, for joining me. Good conversation. Good stuff here. And we will see you guys all for the next episode of the live show. Remember, Sunday night, because Notre Dame, Ohio State is Saturday night. I'm watching that game. So we'll see you Sunday night for the next episode of Turtleboy Live. Peace, Turtle Riders.